Oh, God.
I never do it.
I know, and now you have.
Hi.
Welcome to another episode of the Alter Ego Podcast. We're a little short-staffed today, but we got some A-plus substitutes in here. The Cyborg isn't here, and Ryan couldn't make it either. You know why?
Beep, boop, beep.
Because they both have coronavirus.
No, they don't.
Okay, they're dying of dysentery.
No, they're not.
They have diarrhea.
That might be it, though. That might be it.
I pooped my pants.
So, you like that hard stop?
I pooped my pants.
So for those of you who don't know, I'm here, and of course, the lovely Meagan is here.
Hello.
We have one friend from out of town, Mr. Rhino. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great.
Really good. Where are you from again? Say it for the people at home.
Wisconsin.
Up
north.
He's
Up
from
north.
Rockford, Illinois.
I was born there, but I don't live there.
White trash.
First of all, don't put that on the podcast.
Wow.
There's our dear friend Clayton. How you doing, Clay?
Hello, how y'all
So good
doing?
to have you here on the show, my friend.
You better hope he doesn't have any
on.
listeners in Rockford, by the way.
I do. I have a lot of...
you.
Yeah, we sticker raid Rockford every other weekend.
See you, dude?
We have clients.
That's how that goes.
We're 7 seconds here, and you're already offensive.
I see the card types they use. It's a lot of Discover.
Prepaid?
It's a lot of Discover.
Prepaid cards?
A lot of those, too.
You know who else used prepaid cards?
Who's that?
Ford Supply Company, the first sponsor of our show today. This episode's brought to you by Ford Supply Company, makers of all natural and organic soaps for men with scents like tropical teakwood, citrus IPA, cypress pine, transient road
spice.
scum, blood spurt, and butt nickel. Visit their website at FordSupply.com to order online and use promo code ALTEREGO to get 10% off your order. Ford Supply. Real soap.
No
Hold on a second.
No bullshit.
Was that a real... That was a real, fragrance of butt nickel?
No, yeah.
And road scum.
I always
That's a
make
real-
up 3 or 4.
Oh, okay. I was... Because you had me there for a second.
The sponsors love it.
Rhino's like,
I'm
where can I
ordering
get the butt
3
nickel?
bars right now
Yeah,
before
butt
I
nickel.
go home. Honey, I gotta do something to try.
You're just going to walk up and, not hug, but walk really close. And she's going to be like, what is that? It's a butt nickel. It's a butt nickel.
You gotta whisper it. Butt nickel.
Yeah.
All kidding aside, Rhino, if you have a serious girlfriend, don't wear the nut penny because the women are all
Nut
over.
penny. What is
Nut penny.
what is a nut
Where
penny?
did that come from? We had butt nickel.
Butt nickel and then nut penny.
It's got a nice copper musk.
It's got a nice oaky afterbirth.
Smells like old cheese and stale beer.
Oh, then I'm definitely buying that for Wisconsin.
Yeah, right. There you go.
That's literally what the ambient air smells
That's
like.
the national bird of Wisconsin. They didn't even bother with a bird. They
What's
just
wrong
said,
with your house? It
Yeah.
smells like Lysol.
Yeah.
What is this clean smell?
What happened to the cheese?
Nothing revs your engine like the smell of a sweet placenta.
Old dairy.
Hey, come check out my car. I got that Milwaukee's Best fragrance.
Speaking of dairy, from the land of dairy.
We were all there already.
Yeah, where have you been, Clay?
Hey, you want to stop and get a couple beers before we go to the podcast?
Speaking of delicious scents, let's talk to our second sponsor for the day,
Ooh.
Tony Anello's. Tony Anello's Southern Italian Cuisine and Grill is a hidden gem that's family-owned and operated on the outskirts of St. Petersburg at 1136 Pinellas Bay Way, South Tierra Verde, Florida. This is a must-try for homemade Italian lunch or dinner. Just remember to bring your appetites because the portions are very generous. Call for a reservation today, 727-867-3577, and check out TonyAnellos.com. And I believe through the end of this month, if you mention the podcast, you will get 10% off your order.
10% off.
As a tourist to the state of Florida, I can vouch for that being the best Italian food I've ever had in my entire life.
Yeah, we'll
100%.
be there tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll
for
be there
some
tomorrow.
lunch
I've been there
lunch.
several times. Almost a staple for my trip down.
Oh, yeah.
Well, so wait a minute. We haven't even addressed the fact that it's Halloween by the time this episode is out. Happy Halloween, everybody.
Happy Halloween.
Hallows Eve. I like it.
You know what? I really hate the fact
It probably
that
will
COVID
be
is a thing right
Hallows Eve,
now.
but that's a good time to release this.
I hate that COVID is a thing right now because let's think about it. Halloween is on a Saturday. Our clocks
It's the
push
perfect day
back.
to have that.
Our clocks push back an hour, so we could have stayed out an extra hour getting crazy.
Don't forget it's a blue moon that day, too.
There you go.
The perfect effing storm, and COVID's got to come up and just fuck us.
For anybody that's listening, if you want to come down to the Serenity Creek neighborhood, we're having Halloween.
We might
That is
consider
official.
that.
Well, our
We don't
youngest
know.
child's birthday is that week, and
Is the
we are trying to
28th.
figure something out for them. But anyway, that's neither here nor there.
We're sure that there's a lot of neighborhoods, probably even still ours, that are going to be peering out the windows, totally offended by the fact there's people trick-or-treating. And we're those people that are like, what should we do? So we don't know. We might. Maybe,
Out of all
I
the
don't know.
days in a year where mask wearing is...
They're probably
Yeah.
gonna be
Right.
more
And they
so-
still don't want to do
Yeah.
it.
Anyway.
upset because they thought they weren't going to see this creepy sumbitch over here.
They're still
walking
going to see this
around.
creepy sumbitch.
Oh,
he's gonna wander around our
still
street, if
dressing
nothing
up
else.
as
They're
Mike Myers
thinking-
and walking throughout the
They're
neighborhood.
thinking they're not going to see him this year
Oh, no.
because of COVID. They're going
He's
to be
coming
like,
out.
well, I'll be damned.
If nothing
Joke's
else,
on you.
he will walk the streets in that costume alone with a bulletproof vest, please.
Well,
Alone,
that's
if he
silly.
has to, because he's going to creep out the neighborhood. But speaking of Michael Myers,
Happy to creep out the neighborhood.
what's
That's what we're talking
the
about today,
topic
but not right now. We're going to get into news first.
I thought we weren't doing news.
Well, we got a couple things we got to do.
Okay.
We're going to do a little bit of news. We're obviously have to
Obviously.
get into Rhino and,
Well, I
and
told you
Clay's
no.
top 5.
Oh yeah. Okay. That
We
first.
got to do
that
the top
first.
5.
Yeah.
So okay, hold on. Let's
Don't look at me like that.
let's go to the group and vote here. Do we want to do top 5s first or do we do news
I
first?
wanna
Top
hear the
fives
news
of
first.
what?
News first.
Top fives
Well,
of what?
hold on. Before, let's address that question quickly. What is the top 5 category?
I feel like they should have
Comic
known
book
this.
characters. They
Yes,
did know
all right.
this. I
All right.
messaged them and told them
So
that.
let's do news first, and then we will definitely do top
Okay.
5.
Let's
if
do
you
news.
haven't seen Making a Murderer on Netflix, you should, so then you'll realize why he's so dumb and slow, because he knew about this.
He's
several
pointing
days
at
ago.
Ryan.
I actually don't remember seeing the message that said we're doing top 5. I remember the movie.
did
one.
talk
We're
about
doing
that,
the
yeah.
news.
Yeah. Let's
Well,
do
we
the
drink a
news.
lot in Wisconsin.
Is it
That's
minimal
okay.
news? Because between now and we got a couple weeks until this is
Pretty
probably
sure that's
actually-
none of your damn business.
Oh, okay.
But let's go to The Boys showrunner. Has anybody? We've all watched The Boys at this
Oh,
point.
Yeah.
my
Yeah?
gosh.
Yeah.
So spoilers for The Boys if you haven't watched it yet, and if you haven't watched it yet, you've had plenty of time. So I don't feel sorry for you.
Nope.
The Boys showrunner confirms that a missing character will play a big role in the future. So we're talking about a big character that was, surprisingly
Name in the
not.
comics, likely. This is a comic character, I'm
No,
assuming.
this is one that was
In season
the
1.
show. No, in season 2. The young lady who was at the mental institution.
Oh,
the
yes,
Vaught mental
yes, yes,
institution.
yeah.
Oh,
That
yes,
was-
yes.
Absent from the finale.
Yeah.
That was
She went
OP?
nuts. She went nuts at that mental asylum.
She was very OP.
OP.
Yeah,
Like,
she's
what?
definitely the showrunner confirms. Yeah, she's going to be a huge part of the show going
Now,
forward.
is that the
and yes,
spinoff
she
or is that
coming
season
back.
3?
No, season 3.
Okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
Because there is a spinoff that was confirmed for The Boys, too.
That's correct. Which I don't have much faith in.
I don't either.
because a lot of people. I mean, like. I don't know. I just don't think these spinoffs work too much. I think it's a cash grab personally, and I'm just kind of like, can we just stick with source
It's
material?
hard to land a spin.
Finish
is.
something. Finish something before you start the spinoff. To me, personally,
Well, if anybody can do it, it's Amazon.
I would like to believe that they left the season finale a little lackluster on purpose to build up for season 3, because I was disappointed with the last episode.
I was too. I was disappointed, and I don't want to dive too much into it, but I thought that Homelander was going in a great direction, and they changed it up in the last minute.
Last second,
I
yeah.
kind of really liked where they were going with him, and I was like, oh, man.
Something big is going to happen.
And then something big did not happen. But that's okay. I think they are fully saving all their surprises for next season. But anyway, we'll move on to the next bit of news. There's rumors of another big Marvel DC crossover comic. Yes. Danny Cates, who did Guardians and Venom, he did a couple other ones too. He did
Guardians.
that?
No, that's
Wait,
the
wait, wait.
Flash.
he did
That's the
Thor.
Flash Gordon
He's
Venom,
done
right?
Thor, Venom, Yes,
Yeah.
Flash Thompson.
Or Flash Thompson, excuse me.
Thor, Venom,
Wait.
Guardians
What?
of the Galaxy, and Scott Snyder, who's wanting to be on the DC side, has written for Batman, Swamp Thing, and Justice League.
Speaking of Swamp
Speaking
Thing.
of Swamp Thing, very recently, the wife and I sat
Last
down
night.
and watched
What?
some Swamp Thing.
What?
That is meant to be scary as hell.
We had to kick the kids out. We were like, no, sorry, you can't watch this.
Well,
It's
now, was that-
supposedly scary, and then we started watching it, and I was like, what is happening?
yeah, kids can't be here for this.
No, that's scary as hell.
Which network was that on?
CW.
CW.
Well, no, it was on the DC streaming service, and then it was recently acquired by the CW.
Which, if I can give you any advice, if the DC service is not any,
it's going over to HBO, yes.
Okay, so if you have HBO, watch it there because the CW is bleeped out, so we missed a lot of FUs and S's and H's and A's
And bees.
and B's.
And we missed a good amount of gore.
I think we did. I think there's a point in time where this guy literally gets ripped from, all
5
sorts of
different
different
ways.
directions, and they wrapped him up 5 different ways, and then
Yeah.
the camera went somewhere else, and I was like, ah!
That's a nice little Tuesday.
Yeah.
Yeah, right? A little Tuesday
I open
evening, a
mouth
little
kissed a
wine,
horse
a
once.
little bit
Yeah.
of red
so,
sauce.
they're talking about in this particular comic, there might be matchups like Superman versus the Hulk, Spider-Man versus Superboy, Batman versus Captain America, Wolverine versus Lobo, Storm versus Wonder Woman. Let's just go around the room. Which one are you most excited to see?
Superman versus Hulk for sure, but there's a couple of those that are very, very big
Did you say
mismatches.
Cap and Bat?
I did.
It's hard not to want to see Superman and Hulk.
Yeah.
It's very hard.
Yeah, that's
That
a
is-
tough one.
Yes, that's a very tough one.
Flash isn't in there.
Nope.
I'm a real big fan of the Flash. I want to see the Bat Cap.
Yeah, me too.
The Cap Bat. I want to see it.
Can we
they're
take
both
30 seconds very quickly to point out Spider-Man versus Superboy and Wolverine versus Lobo?
Lobo, yeah.
Lobo's
in-
pretty
is
cool.
Lobo
In
but-
real talk, there's
Yeah.
not a chance
Yeah,
in hell that Wolverine
No.
takes on Lobo
Yeah.
or Spider-Man taking on
Right.
Superboy.
Right.
But does the Batman take
It's
on
uneven.
the
I
Cap?
don't understand how the
I could
Batman
see that.
would take on
Oh, well.
Cap without a whole lot of gadgets. With
But that's
access
Batman's
to-
MO,
But
though.
that's fine.
Here's my
But-
challenge. Here's my challenge.
As long as he doesn't have
look
the
at
Predator.
look at the personalities of a Captain America and a Batman. On paper, they're not going to fight at
No,
all.
They would have no
No.
reason to fight each other.
Right. So why would they fight each other?
No.
Is Batman going to catch Captain America breaking the law?
it's simply
no.
for
There has to
crossovers.
have some. There has to be some sort of element of like somebody got
Yeah.
framed for a murder or for a crime of some kind.
Either way, it'd be dope to see.
I still
Both
think
Soup
that-
Soup and Hulk.
That's the only
and
realistic
Cap
one
and-
out of the whole-
Well, Cap and Batman would be pretty interesting to see. toe-to-toe.
Superman and the Hulk makes absolutely the most sense
Yep.
of
Yeah,
all those
for
matchups.
for sure. But I'm going to be
Even
the,
Storm and
the
Wonder
odd
Woman.
one.
I don't see those two fighting.
I won't be
No.
surprised if they give us a very valid reason why they fight, considering they gave us a great one for Batman and Superman to fight. I mean, there's going to be a way to get them to tangle.
I know, but those
just don't
Right.
characters are in the
understand
same universe,
How
though.
Batman takes the shield off the face and is still standing. I don't know how.
Oh,
they do
yeah.
that.
That's
See,
a good
Superman
point.
let me-
and Hulk, who's stronger?
Yeah.
We don't know.
But let me open up a scenario for you. Batman has been falsifying his
Tax
income
returns.
for a very long time, and Captain America
Works for the IRS.
fights for the American way.
Yeah.
And I can see him coming
Steve,
in. And
he
saying,
comes up with a
"Batman,
business card that says Steve Rogers CPA.
CPA. I'm coming here to audit your things and punch you in the face.
You're making
Yeah.
me think about that. What's Tim the Toolman Taylor's real name? You're
Tim
making me
Allen.
think
Tim
about
Allen.
that
Allen.
Tim Allen movie where he has to escape to Amish country because his accountant falsified his tax documents.
Oh,
and you
what
had
a
that
great movie.
overzealous IRS
Yes.
agent that had a gun.
That's Batman.
And so maybe
Yeah.
Captain Rogers goes,
Excuse me, Bruce.
shows his card, IRS Enforcement Division.
Bruce,
Yeah.
I couldn't help but notice
Also,
that Wayne
AKA
Enterprises is a
Captain America.
multi-billion-dollar organization, and
Yeah.
you filled out a 1099.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd like to
I
talk
can
to you
see
about
it.
that.
So
I'd
theory
like to see
goes,
your accounts receivable.
Yeah.
Mark's going to love this one because Mark's a big
The
DC
accounts
fanboy.
payable.
He wants
Let's move on.
Batman
Let's move on to the next
totally
one.
win.
Moving on to the next
Got
one.
it.
There's a rumor that WandaVision is going to be a show that takes place entirely in Wanda Maximoff's head,
In like a multiverse type sort of
Not a
not necessarily
multiverse.
multiverse, right?
not a multiverse
like
situation.
like a dream or some.
Now,
something.
see,
Right.
that's interesting because the first rumor I heard about that was the show actually took place inside the Mind Stone.
I thought the
Before
same thing.
I was waiting for that to be confirmed. Before Vision was destroyed by Thanos, everything that was happening in the show was happening inside
But
the Mind
will
Stone.
it be confirmed? Because do you think they'll actually put that out there that it's confirmed before everybody gets a chance to
I think
watch
they'll just
it?
I think they'll make everyone think about it and then confirm it afterwards.
Of course.
I think they're just stealing from the original Dallas series, where the whole episode
Season three.
was
Season three.
was a dream that
No, it was a
Bobby
whole
had.
season. It was a
You're
whole season.
spoiling-
When Who Shot
You're spoiling
JR.
a season
if
of
you
Dallas.
have not seen the original Dallas, which was in the 70s and 80s, then
You deserve
sorry,
this.
You are spoiled.
Hey, that was one of the greatest board games of all time.
All I'm saying
Dallas.
is a whole season was in Bobby's head,
Yeah.
and they killed JR. I think they're just unoriginal bastards. For
Wow.
Oh wow! Disney or Marvel? Or
Well-
a bit of both.
That's a
They're
hot
the
take.
same thing.
Just going to go ahead and tell you
Fair
Elizabeth
enough.
Olsen's a big fan of the show, so please be
Yeah,
respectful.
be easy, be easy.
Moving
She
on to the
listens.
next bit
Oh,
of
I love
news,
her.
we're talking about Marvel's Avengers, the video game that came out. Their
Why are we
newest
talking about this
content
again?
release was
Oh.
going to be Kate Bishop, who is famously Hawkeye's understudy, and she was going to be the next free DLC character, and apparently she has been pushed back.
Ooh, yikes!
Sexist.
And they also talked about the state of the game, which is, as of right now, not great as far as public perception and the way things are going.
I mean, it's been a rocky road, but
Yeah.
they'll figure it out in a couple of years.
Yeah. Oh, there was a question. This is kind of a middle of the road here. Jon Favreau addresses the idea of a Mandalorian movie.
Okay,
How about that?
But
How about
wait.
4 or 5 seasons and then finishing it off with a movie?
But that's okay. So is that what it's saying? Is
No.
it finishing it off with a movie, or is it maybe like going back in time and giving
It's
us a little
just
early
asking
Mando?
him. It's just asking him about the possibilities.
See,
of
I
the
would
movie.
I would love to know what the premise of that movie would be. Would it be the original
That's what I'm
Mandalorian? Would it be post
Would it be a little
Empire?
bit more origin? Would it be in between things? Would it be after
Well,
several seasons?
the origin would be Django.
I don't really care. Anything Favreau does, I'm going to
I'm going to
Brilliant.
appreciate the
Brilliant.
hell out of
He
it.
is
Absolutely.
brilliant, yeah.
It's going to be
However,
great regardless
I
where
think
it falls.
it's going to be following our Mandalorian from the TV series.
It should.
Which
be
that would still
That's
be
fine,
amazing.
but is it going to be like a prequel sort of thing?
There's
or
literally no information on it
endless,
yet.
endless
Yeah,
I
opportunities?
think
Yeah.
it would follow. I mean, Disney's MO now is long play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if they do go back in time, it's origin type stuff. That's why I'm like, okay, well, from what we've seen with like Black Widow, for instance, we obviously at this point we've all seen her die. So we're going back in time with a movie on her kind of preliminaries. So I mean, it really could go either direction.
Well, see, the weird thing about that is, it's not that particular movie's not even a like a prequel or a origin. That's in between
Kinda-
movies that have
yeah,
already
yeah,
come
yeah. It's
out,
kinda stuff
and
that's
it's still going to
happening.
be a smash.
It is. It's in between Civil War, where
Yeah.
all the documents get released
Which is
about
kind of
S.H.I.E.L.D.
cool. It kind of fills
That's
in some blanks.
Winter Soldier.
maybe.
Winter Soldier, sorry.
Yeah.
But it
yeah,
fills
yeah.
in some blanks, which is kind of cool
Yeah.
for that Marvel universe that we're all loving so much.
Honestly, I think Favreau could direct a movie of somebody wiping their ass, and Disney could release
We'd
it
all
and make
watch
$1
it.
billion.
We'd all watch it.
Especially if
They already
it's
did that. It was called the
Scarlett's
Jungle
ass.
Book remake. So,
Oh, glad.
two real quick bits of news here. There's, they're all asking for the Snyder cut, and all these other people want director's cuts of terrible movies. They're now asking for a Batman Forever Joel Schumacher cut. Get out.
You don't want to see Val Kilmer don the suit again?
Nope. Sorry, I got everything I needed from that movie. I'm so tired of these movies not being fantastic and then hearing things along the lines of, oh, well, the director's vision for the movie was going to be XYZ.
I mean, I'm going to say right now that I think Zack Snyder's cut of the movie that's being released is going to be exponentially better. But going back in time, decades, and saying we want a director's cut of this movie is a little far-fetched.
Here's my hot take on the Snyder cut of Justice League, and we've talked about it at exhaustion on this podcast, so I'll be brief. Don't put your movie out if you're not happy with the final product.
Yeah.
Don't give me crap and then come back years later and go, well, I wasn't
It
done.
could have been this much
There was
better.
this much it was supposed to
No.
happen. It's like, well, I don't care now.
I didn't know Adam Sandler was here.
Yeah. Hubie Halloween.
I watched that the other day. by the way.
Great
Last
It was not bad. I liked it. It was cute.
it was
was
exactly
goofy.
what I expected
Yeah,
it to
yeah.
be.
It's what it should be because he brings all these familiar faces together. He
Yep.
played off some characters from his other movies, and
Yep.
that's what we love. It's back
Yeah.
to that long
That's the
play
first.
idea,
That's the
you
first
know?
movie his daughters have starred in and
Yeah.
actually had speaking roles in.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yep.
They
They were in 50 First Dates, I
his
think.
daughters have been in most of his movies,
But they never had
not,
speaking
not
roles.
speaking roles.
But in Blended, his daughter has a speaking role.
His eldest?
his younger daughter has a speaking
Oh,
role.
younger.
And then there's one other one where they had a speaking role.
Nice.
That was it. His older daughter had. It's just one line. It's in both of these movies. It's
So
one
that's what
line.
I'm talking about. I'm talking about a storyline that focuses solely on them and follows
Oh,
them.
okay, yeah,
You're probably right. You know what I mean? Like
This movie, they weren't cameos; they were actual supporting
Yeah, they're
characters.
starting-
they were
Yeah,
characters.
They're,
yeah.
I mean, they're mildly supporting characters, but they do have several different,
But, yeah, right, it does
on-screen
follow
moments
them
to
when
where
they're
they've
out,
saying
Yeah.
things. Yeah.
He
Right.
goes and rescues them and all that. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. The original first appearance Punisher, which was on Spider-Man 100 something, is up for auction. And I'd like to go around the room and have you guess how much you think this first edition black and white Punisher appearance in mint condition is going for at auction.
1.2
year?
million.
What year?
What year? Hold on a second. I'll tell you.
1963, 64. I'm
I
gonna
can
guess.
tell you right
I'm sticking
now.
by my number. It's the first thing that popped in my
I
head.
think I smell ass because Rhino just pulled that out of his.
No, I said it was a guess. I did say it was a guess, but I'm gonna guess 60, 63, 64.
I'm trying to take. 71.
Okay,
There you go.
71.
1.2 million.
I did say it was a guess.
It's from Spider-Man 129.
All right, so
trademark issue 1974.
1.2 mil from Meagan. I'm gonna say $670,000.
Okay. I will. I'll let you re-guess. It is in the millions.
Okay, I'm going to guess $1.67 million.
1.6.
Are we doing
1.2,
Price is Right
1.67?
rules?
Closest without going over. Yeah.
1.671 million.
Well, you're all under.
Dang.
Ah, fuck.
The bidding on this.
3.1.
The bidding on this comic is starting at $2 million.
Wow.
That's starting.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Wow.
And there's a lot of buzz that it's going to go for that. I got to tell you,
Oh, I'm sure.
I've been a fan
I
of
would be
comics
surprised,
for a
too.
very long time. I love my comic properties. I love my pops. I love the experiences I have with my family while collecting them and reading them and watching the movie. If any one of my items that I had ever was fetching $2 million, I
Gone.
would sell it so fast.
Gone
We
immediately.
were just talking about this morning when one of our pops, because we collect, you've heard probably a couple episodes ago at this point, one of our pops reached a value of like $300, and people are buying it for that right now. And did I not look at you this morning and say people are effing crazy
Yeah.
to pay that amount of money for a plastic toy?
Well, that only means one thing. It's going to be worth more money down the road.
Probably.
Which is what I
Yeah.
keep telling her.
So anyway, but that's
Well, when
I'm
you
just
look at
we're
all
not
of
those
these-
type of people that are like,
No.
I need this so bad, I'm
No,
going to spend
we're-
hundreds
all
and
of
thousands
these
of
people
dollars.
that are our age that grew up on this
Yeah.
that now have so much money.
Yep.
Ugh.
It's damn sure going to fetch.
I agree.
I would,
And that's why I mentioned, we were at lunch before this, and I mentioned Snake Plissken from Escape from New York and Escape from L.A. fame.
He's a new
He's
York
a
Comic-Con
1,000
release.
piece. That means they only made 1,000 of them in the world.
Booth
And
sticker
then he's
only.
vaulted. And
Yeah.
No, are those numbered?
Yeah.
So like if you get one like this is
No.
27. Okay.
No.
No.
It says of 1,000. So when you do that, basically, I mean, you hold on to that for however long. Snake Plissken has been around since the 80s.
Early 80s, I
Early,
think.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been around for a long time, and this pop is already going for crazy amounts of money. And I can only imagine he's going to continue to be valuable like that. So, hey, man, I can't wait to see where he goes.
Yeah, it'll be
There is
interesting.
talk of them remaking that movie.
Yeah.
So if they do
Is
end
it
up
gonna be-
remaking
what's
that
his
movie,
face?
Such a bad idea.
Who?
Kurt Russell?
Kurt Russell.
They wouldn't do it without him.
I don't think there's any way to do it.
They
without
wouldn't
him,
do it
no.
without him. These movies are so fantastically 80s terrible that they have become cult classics. You know what I mean? I'm Duke of New York. I'm a number one.
And Kurt Russell's iconic.
Yeah, he is. 100%.
He's a
So.
gem.
He is. He's a
Straight up
national
gem.
treasure.
There's only one Kurt Russell role that comes to mind.
Ever?
No, I
Like
meant there's
immediately,
one up
immediately.
here and then the rest are below
Is it
it.
the
Okay.
one where they take the plane?
No.
They take the plane.
That is oh
Can't
my
even
God.
name it. It's probably
That's
not that
him
one.
and Steven Seagal.
Yeah,
It's
Steven
so
Skull.
good.
What's
Yeah.
the one you're thinking of?
Your husband knows immediately which one I'm
Steven
talking
Seagal
about.
dies.
Probably Captain
immediately.
Ron.
That's exactly what it is.
Oh, Captain
Oh.
Ron. I forgot about that.
Captain Ron. Hi, Ron.
Overboard?
Overboard. Thank you.
Phenomenal movie.
With Goldie Hawn.
Yeah.
I am actually
Right?
I'm disappointed
That
with
they
us four that
remade.
no one has said this movie yet.
They remade it
Of-
with Anna
of
Faris.
Kurt
and
Russell's?
that
Yeah.
fell flat.
Oh, geez. Other than Escape from New York and Escape from L.A.? Don't know, man. What you got?
I'm not going to tell you.
Yes, you are.
No, he didn't have to. It's fine.
Wyatt Earp.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Tombstone.
Tombstone,
Tombstone.
but he's not the main. Okay, yeah, he
is.
kind of is.
Well, no, that's a great
He
movie,
just-
but
he
when I
got-
think of that movie,
You think
actually,
of Val Kilmer,
I think of
obviously.
Val
Of
Kilmer.
course.
Stole that. So, yeah.
He's a big, but yeah, you think of Val Kilmer. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
No, what I was saying is, when I think of Kurt Russell, I think of
You
one
think of
movie
one
immediately,
movie, and
and
that
then
makes
everything
sense.
else.
Yeah.
the
that
thing
makes
the
sense.
thing to me about that is when you say a specific actor, I think of a movie in which they are the most prominent, stole the show, and that's unfortunate for
That's
him and
Val
Tombstone
Kilmer.
because it's a fantastic movie. But there are other guys that put on Curly Bill, you know what I mean? Morgan,
Val
Virgil, all of them. They all have great representations in that movie, so that's why I didn't think about that.
Even
of
Bill
him.
Paxton.
Yeah, ain't no white light.
Rest in peace, Bill.
Yeah, legit.
Anyway,
R.I.P. Bill.
anyway.
Bill's Ghost is a big fan of the show.
On to the top
I'm going
five.
to need somebody that
Yeah.
Google works to tell me that movie with Kurt Russell where they take the plane.
You need to put the mic closer to your face for anybody to hear what you're talking about.
I have
Kurt
to know.
Russell takes a plane. He wants
Yeah.
to know the movie.
No, I know.
have to know what
I know
that
what it
is.
is. Yeah. I can definitely get that for you.
We're
That's
going
our
to Google it real
yeah,
fast.
We're gonna
for
Google
Clay.
song.
That
That's
is
our Google
driving
song
me
when we're
insane.
searching for something. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are currently using the Google
I just
Safari
type in
site.
Kurt. He's the only thing that
It's
comes
not
up.
terminal velocity.
No, I'm gonna get it right as it gets mentioned here.
All you'd have to say is Kurt Russell on a plane. Unless there's some weird lawsuit.
Sky High. No, I'm kidding. That's not it. 3,000 Miles to Graceland. That's another good one.
Great movie.
Stargate.
Stargate's another really good one.
None of these are it because Clay's
Golly,
not flipping.
no,
Keep
they're
going
not.
down. Keep going down.
You know what'll be faster to find this? We type in Steven Seagal.
Is he in that too?
Yeah, he dies immediately.
Oh,
Yeah, that was when they were docking the planes
He gets
together,
sucked out
and
of
he
it
was
when
he
it
was in the
breaks loose.
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
correct. Steven
great
Seagal, who
movie.
looks absolutely terrible. Under Siege? No, that wasn't it. All right, come on, Google
yeah, the
song.
Google
You're
song.
killing
It
me
just,
here.
Say
it
it,
just
I'll know
very
it.
repetitive,
Oh,
and you're taking too
man.
long.
Sheep Impact.
You might want to go back to the
Steven
90s.
That's a movie that he was in.
Seagal.
Sheep Impact. Under Siege? No, that's
No,
not
that's
it.
got Tommy Lee Jones
That's
in
the
it.
submarine
Marked
movie.
for
Yep.
Death. Executive Decision.
Executive decision.
Oh,
Yes.
Executive
Yes.
Decision.
Yep.
There it is,
He
baby.
dies. He dies in the first 5 minutes of that movie when they're
Yep.
trying to dock with
Yep.
the stealth fighter.
Yep.
Yep.
And he gets sucked with the stealth fighter and it crashes.
Right.
Why would they not have parachutes on?
And
How hard
the
is
funny thing about that is
is
the whole time I just remember asking my dad, do you think he had a parachute on? Do you think he grabbed the back fin of the plane and he's okay? Like, Steven Seagal was the main part of this movie, and now he's gone.
You know who would grab the back fin of the plane?
Wesley Snipes.
Chuck
Captain
Norris.
America, but not Batman.
Wesley Snipes.
Oh my gosh!
Well, Batman
Batman
would
would have to
have
grapple hook
grappling
it.
hooked.
Yeah, Batman grappling hook big time. I don't see either of them falling off the plane if that happens. Actually, I see Captain America if he falls, he's okay.
He's just
no
landing.
matter how far
He
he
just
goes.
lands on his shoe.
Yep, there you
Takes
go.
a keep
'Cause
hopping a
Did he
step.
jump without a chute?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he did.
It's like, does he know we're over solid ground? Oh, shit. No, he doesn't. That movie takes a dark turn. It's like a recovery movie.
He does know we're in the Rockies, right?
Oh boy!
Oh man,
We should have told Cap these are shark-infested
we are
waters.
starting to dance down the Christopher Reeves line. Let's move on.
Yeah.
Oh no, Fluffy. Okay.
Well, anyway. So let's move on to the top five. Which one of you guys wants to go first, or do you want to do 1, 1, 2,
Now,
2,
here's
3, 3,
the
4, 4,
format.
5, 5?
Rhino has to go first.
Well, here's the format. We're going from 5 to 1.
5
Yeah.
to
Oh,
1.
yeah,
5 to
yeah,
1.
for sure.
5 to 1.
So I say we just give one at a time. We go 5, 4, 3,
Okay.
2, 1.
Okay.
I'm gonna
okay
let
with
This is your show.
I'm
I'm
allowing.
gonna let you start it.
All right.
Oh wow!
If
He
we're
put it
going-
on
all
you,
right,
then you put it on him.
So if we're going in order from least,
Well,
not
favorite-
least. It's top
fifth,
five.
fifth most.
Yeah.
Fifth most favorite, yeah.
So least, right, out of the
Least
five.
of the 5.
Of the five. yeah.
Gambit.
Wow.
Solid fucking
Ooh,
choice.
that is a great
X-Men, the
choice.
Gambit.
super
Solid
powered
He
cartoons.
is-
Why Gambit?
Because he's sassy.
The swagger of Gambit
He has swagger for
sassy.
days.
for
Yeah.
days. Dude's a pimp.
Yeah,
And if I could pull off calling women mon chérie all the time, I'd do it.
you might be able to.
Nope. Did you just hear me?
Mon,
Mon chérie.
hey, Mon Sherry,
Mo, sure you want to stop
You know
and get
what
some
comes
beers
after
before we
that?
go to the
Get me a natty light, damn it.
Mon Sherry. All right.
My number 5, War Machine.
War Machine.
Okay,
wow,
that's a good
I'm
choice.
surprised to even see him
That's
on
a
your
great
list.
choice.
War Machine.
Yeah.
I think War Machine is up there because he's technically a secondary character. He's almost like a sidekick,
For sure,
Yeah,
but he rivals Iron Man's badassness.
I agree.
that's fair.
As a matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and say I think he doesn't have more badass storylines or anything like that, but I think he's more badass.
He doesn't have the tech either.
Exactly.
Tony Stark has unlimited tech. War
Right.
Machine just has one suit.
You want me
Right.
to- you-
It's a
you want me
different
to
thing.
tell you what really saved that character is
War Machine?
switching to Don Cheadle.
Don't
Well,
tell him that.
I love Don Cheadle.
I love Terrence
Don
Howard.
Cheadle.
I thought he would have been great too. I thought he was a good actor. I thought he was somebody who could have carried that role. I don't think Don Cheadle is a step down by any
No.
means,
No.
but I think Terrence
But I
Howard
can
could have
see where you're
handled it.
coming
I think
from because
Don
I do
Cheadle's a better
think that he
replacement.
could have done. I think Terrence could have done a great job at it.
So
However,
Jack says lateral move. I thought it was a small
Cheadle
improvement.
and Downey Jr.
Terrence
really.
Howard can't pull off that smart ass banner like Cheadle can. Cheadle,
And I think him and Robert Downey Jr. had
That's-
great chemistry.
Right.
That's what I was going to say.
Well,
I don't
what-
think Howard and Robert Downey Jr. would have had
Jr.
that.
Right.
that kind of forced
Yeah.
Terrence Howard
Yeah.
out. So, but Don Cheadle's just great with that.
I'm
Yeah,
just
and
talking.
they had a great chemistry, which is it's needed.
Yeah.
It's necessary.
I think in terms of acting, they're both great.
Yeah.
I do think that Terrence
yeah,
Howard
absolutely.
could have done it, but I'm not mad at the Don Cheadle move.
No.
They did it flawlessly, and they
Yeah.
handled it in the first interaction between him and RDJ. So I thought it was good. But anyway, we'll move on. Let's go to number 4.
You get 4 first.
Oh,
I'll
there
get
we
4
go.
first.
Okay, so we're
We'll
doing one of the
snake it.
snake drafts.
yeah,
Here we
snake
go.
draft.
Spider-Man is number 4.
4.
All right.
Spider-Man is 4.
Too fast.
At one point back in the 60s, in the early age of Spider-Man, he was actually among the most powerful Marvel characters there were. He was ranked 4th strongest Marvel character.
Yeah, that to me is in term of, what they go through in their comics and what issue gives them what powers.
That's true. And he's had several iterations of what kind of powers he has.
Yep.
But I just he was the first mainstream teenager that wasn't a sidekick. He was a solo hero.
Yep.
And he took that role and ran with it. I thought they did a really good job making pretty much a boy a number 1 hero.
And throwing all the, as Mark loves to say, the rogues galleries of villains at him made him look that much more powerful. When you can handle Scorpion, Rhino, Green Goblin, Venom all at the same time, that puts you up there.
Really quick, one of my favorite scenes in any of the MCU movies was Spider-Man's first appearance in Civil War.
Mm-hmm.
When he broke through the glass, he was chasing Falcon and Winter Soldier, and he caught Winter Soldier's punch like it was nothing.
Right.
And then the first words out of his mouth were, "You have a metal arm? That's awesome." It was power, but then he's still a child in the same scene.
Right.
Yeah.
That was one of the things that made him such a good bounce off of RDJ and Iron Man. It kind of humbled him a little bit.
Tom Holland has a couple moments in there to where he's like, he doesn't realize it's not about how strong he is in that moment. It's that he's learning these new things. Like you said, the Winter Soldier with the metal arm. I know that's not at all, it's not an Endgame or anything, but there's those moments in Infinity War to where he, has those kind of, not
he always has those
moments,
kind of,
hey buddy, I think you lost this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
he's just like enlightened by the fact that somebody has something really cool that he doesn't have.
Yeah.
But he doesn't realize that his strength just stopped them from using it or whatever it is. Like, it's just kind of cool.
No, it's like when he meets, hi, I'm Peter, by the way, Doctor Strange. Oh, made up names. Got it. Spider-Man. You know what I mean?
Using our made-up names.
Right.
Exactly. It's
Right.
like he does have that, and I think Tom Holland really does a great job with that.
Actually, he's got one of the I think, most influential lines in Infinity Wars when he says, there's nothing, I can't remember exactly what it is, so I apologize.
Can't be a neighborhood Spider-Man if there's no
neighborhood.
If
Yes.
there's no neighborhood, yeah.
That was one of my favorite lines in that movie.
That was a big line.
It is a very enlightened moment.
Yeah.
It's such a grown-up
Like
thing
that was
for
him.
Spider-Man
That was him
to say.
maturing into a hero,
Yeah.
and then a couple minutes later, he's Don an Avenger.
Not
Right.
to mention, in Infinity War, I cried when he died, but with nobody else. And then I cried at his reaction to Tony Stark dying.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God, yeah.
I mean,
Oh, man.
The funeral after the fact, all sobbing, but when Tony Stark was dying, it wasn't Gwyneth Paltrow. It was Tom Holland.
That was phenomenal acting. Both of those scenes were phenomenal acting by Tom Holland.
Made me so sad at the time.
Yeah.
Who's your fourth?
I'm gonna go ahead and take a clear 2-0 lead on you here with Horseface Thor.
Beta Ray Bill.
I was going to say,
Beta
we
Ray
are
Bill.
going to clarify, and Beta Ray Bill was on my list when we originally did this. Now, aside from me and Rhino educating you about Beta Ray Bill, what attracts you to him the most?
I did a deep dive after y'all showing me Horseface Thor.
And by the way, for the fans at home, Triple H, all the other big celebrities that listen, Clay refuses to call him by his real name, Beta Ray Bill.
He is Horseface Thor.
I don't even
and
know
that's
who
it.
that is.
You can't even call him Bill.
I don't even know his
Just
name.
Bill.
Not even William?
Horseface Thor comes in and says, "Hey, I need to borrow your hammer." It wasn't like Captain America or anybody else that thought, "Am I good enough?" Horseface Thor said,
Give me that thing. I need it.
I'm going to need that for a minute.
Yeah. And
You know what
Thor's
I mean?
just like,
he
ha!
knew.
Nice
he
try.
knew he was worthy.
Yeah.
Well, I don't
And-
think it was a matter of knowing if he was worthy.
He was
or
taking
not.
it regardless.
I think he was
He
taking
didn't-
it regardless because
Yeah.
he didn't
Question
know
it.
that he didn't question it, but he
Didn't
probably
question
didn't.
He didn't know about the enchantment. He just
probably
saw a
didn't know the
hammer and he's like, "Give me that
properties.
shit."
So
He's
in
just badass.
the comics or the iteration that I've seen, Beta Ray Bill is the chosen champion of his people to escort them from their home world that I believe later on is getting eaten by Galactus or it's being destroyed, and he's chauffeuring his people to a new planet. And he ends up going through the dimension where Surtur is, and Thor happens to be there.
He took Thor as a threat.
Sees the ship. No, it's the other way around. Thor
yeah.
goes on to the Corbinite ship thinking they are a threat, and Beta Ray Bill's like, "You're on my ship," and attacks him, and Thor throws the hammer, and when he throws it, Beta Ray Bill's like, "Oh, you gave up your weapon." Thor's like, "There's no way he'll pick it up," and Beta Ray Bill doesn't even hesitate, and boom, got your hammer. And then... The rest
Ultimate
is history.
badass.
Well, he's so Stormbreaker in the movie Infinity War.
Is Beta Ray.
That's actually Beta Ray Bill's weapon.
Right.
So after they fight and then become friends, that's when Odin is like, well, he needs a weapon that is just as
And
badass.
it doesn't look anything like it does in
No.
that movie. It doesn't look anything like that in the comics. It's about the same size as Mjolnir. It's just the actual head of the hammer is shaped very differently. So, like, as you
Here's
know,
my
you've seen-
favorite thing about Beta Ray Bill. There's a comic book stretch called Unworthy Thor, where he loses the hammer, and he's going around with a sword, and he's in a dark place, and Beta Ray Bill finds him and immediately goes down on his knees and lifts up Stormbreaker and says, if you're not worthy, I'm not. Take mine. And I'm just like, damn.
And Beta Ray Bill is in the new line of the Thor comic that's out, the newer version, and he's pretty much like, if you're and Beta Ray Bill is still very good, and not that Thor is not, but if you've read it, you kind of know that he's
Well, Thor is, as we've talked about before on the podcast, he's right now stuck as the Herald of Galactus.
right, and he's doing the right thing, but he's not doing the right thing at the same time. It's a little bit of both, but he doesn't really realize it. That's okay. And Beta Ray Bill comes in that comic and is pretty much like, if you're going to do this, I'm going to beat your ass if you do it. And they fight, and it's
love
pretty
that.
dope.
Let's not forget that you could be standing beside him as he kicks some serious ass and just a hard, bad dude. But then you can just pet his little soft nostrils
Jesus.
like a horse has that you love to pet right
I don't
over
think
those
that that's
nostrils.
how
And
that
then-
works.
I just imagine Clay going to meet Beta Ray Bill
Feeding him a carrot.
low key with a bag of carrots in his pocket. Like, if things get out of hand, I'll see how this goes.
See, this is why I should be the eminent guy on
Bill,
Horse
did you
Face
just
Thor,
defeat
because
Surtur and
if
prevent
you- if
Ragnarok?
you-
Here's an apple.
Here's a
You
carrot.
really, apple.
I want to see if you roll
If
it
you
around.
really want to endear a horse to you, you
Feed
throw
it an
them an
apple.
apple
Feed
because
'em an
they
apple,
will
yeah.
spin that son of a bitch
Yeah.
and just clean it up.
Yep,
true.
yep.
Number 3's on you, big boy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, it sucks that you picked Spider-Man because Spider-Man.
We can have doubles. We can have
That's
doubles.
okay.
yeah, yeah,
No,
Spider-Man
doubles
was
are
my
totally
number
fine
3.
and completely expected. When we did
Yeah.
our first ever episode, it was me, Mark, our friend Justin, and Megan, and I believe there was a lot of run
There were
over
definitely
on
a
our
lot
list.
of
I listened to
runners.
that one, and there were quite a few doubles.
Oh, yeah.
Spider-Man was my number 3. So
That's fine. Well, let's
And
give a little
we
reason
even
why.
had we even had a couple doubles too, or not doubles, but I did Venom and Carnage in the same
Kind of
line.
in a-
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
There's leeway.
well, the reason why Spider-Man is a lot of what you already talked about. That's why I hated that he was first on your list. Is he cares about his neighborhood. He's this guy that accidentally got these powers, and most people would just use them for their own good and or hide them and not do anything. But he answers the call, and I got to be honest with you, I enjoyed Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man.
I like Garfield a lot.
Garfield was just too cool for me to be Spider-Man. Like he like when he tries to be nerdy and dorky, he comes off cool. And so that's not
Well,
really
does that say
who
a lot about
Peter-
you or a
It
lot
does-
about him?
Well, I'm just so cool too. I can't come off dorky, so I relate to him. But at
agree.
the same time, that is not Peter Parker.
Tom
Peter
Holland
Parker is not a cool nerd guy. And then Tom Holland nails it.
Yeah, he does.
So to have a character that you have these 3 different guys play it, and you talk about you like Garfield more. I like Tobey Maguire, but Tom Holland's better.
Tom Holland is better.
Here's
That-
another
that's-
thing.
that's a
Here's another
great
thing
character.
to consider when you think of people who have played Spider-Man and how much shit I personally give Tobey Maguire because I don't like his portrayal of it. But who did Tobey Maguire have to go off of?
That's fair.
And
In all
then
honesty, he
Andrew
wasn't-
Garfield sees what works for him and what doesn't, goes with that.
Yeah.
Tom Holland and Marvel see what doesn't work for both of them, they go with
And
that.
in all honesty, I didn't have any issues with Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man until we saw Black Suit Spider-Man.
Now, see, that
Yeah.
same logic, though, hasn't
I
worked for
didn't
the Batman series.
like him.
True.
So let's look at that,
It
right?
turned very
So,
emo-ish, and
The-
it kind of lost me there.
but I don't think that's on the character
No,
Tobey Maguire.
it's
They
probably
were
not.
running out of material.
Yeah.
And and they
it's
were
also Sony.
They were relying on these storylines that were coming, that were being added to it, like Venom and all that. I think that he did the best he could with what he was handed.
I don't necessarily
That's true.
agree that they were running out of material. It was
Yeah.
Sony. Because if you look at the MCU, they have. I mean, you're talking about 75, 80 years worth of comic books.
and there's so much source material. I think they didn't do justice to
No.
the actual comics. I think they saw characters that were absolutely badass and said, well, we're just going to put them in a situation.
Yeah,
Hollywood,
we're gonna-
they Hollywooded the
Yes.
story.
Yes.
They didn't do the story. They
Right.
Yeah.
did a Hollywood spin on it.
Yeah.
And
All
you
right.
can't fault Toby for that.
No.
So
no,
my third,
well, yeah.
and I'm gonna do a little cross here. I'm not gonna just keep it Marvel, but my third is gonna be Superman.
Okay.
All right.
I mean, Superman is the quotation fingers American
Sorry.
hero. But now hold on, there's a
was
story.
me.
Superman was my
He's
childhood.
an illegal alien.
He was my childhood favorite.
Yeah.
Pretty sure he doesn't have Social Security.
So that is, I'm pretty sure he doesn't
does.
fucking need one
He's-
either.
He's Clark Kent.
Who's gonna go up to
Yeah.
him and tell him that he needs a Social Security
that's
card?
called identity theft.
He didn't steal
To the
somebody else's
highest
identity.
degree.
He's,
They just made one up.
he's
Now-
forgery, but yeah.
Can I just say with that, can I interrupt you real quick and say that the best casting for his father was Kevin Costner?
100%.
Can I just say that
100%.
Kevin Costner's always the best casting
even
for whatever role
before
he plays.
Yellowstone?
Honestly, I thought Henry
Except-
Cavill was a
I
phenomenal
will
casting for
say
Superman.
This is the
Agreed.
only thing I'll ever say negative about Kevin Costner. Kurt Russell played Wyatt Earp better than Kevin Costner did.
Kevin Costner was actually the first person that was supposed to play Wyatt Earp in Tombstone, and Kurt Russell said, "No, I'm going to play him."
Kevin Costner played Wyatt Earp
Back
in the movie
to my-
Wyatt Earp,
back
and
to my
Kurt Russell
choice
did a
here.
better job.
One thing kind of negative, kind of I guess middle of the road about Superman is his greatest gift is also his biggest downfall is the fact that he's limitless in power. There's really nothing he can't do
Kryptonite.
other than kryptonite. That's his weakness. What I meant is
Right.
he's literally limitless in power. He can physically do anything.
Yeah.
I mean, Superman Prime sat in the middle of the sun for 10,000 years and he literally became God.
Right.
But
Is he the only opposite character?
what do you mean?
I listened to Kevin Smith talk about it.
You're talking about the
where
Bizarro world?
you have, Batman is not Batman, right?
Oh, you know what I
Spider-Man
mean?
is not
So, right.
Spider-Man.
So they are, what he means here
His
is they're
alter
Peter
ego
Parker. They're,
Is Clark Kent.
Right.
He is Superman, but his
Right.
alter ego is Clark Kent.
Oh,
And
yes. So
okay.
his
Yeah,
normal
yeah, yeah.
human.
Is he the only one that
No.
does that?
No.
Since I
He's
don't
like
know.
an everyday
But at the
superhero
same
here
time-
on Earth.
So you pick him. So the one negative thing I'm going to say about that is he obviously looks at us normal humans as a bunch of dorky pieces of shit.
Well, no,
because
hold
that's
on.
what he decided.
Hold on.
his alter ego
So
would be.
his glasses actually have magical powers. So when he wears his
hold on. Here's one thing that I want to talk about when we talk about superheroes and stuff like that. And we've had this conversation a couple times. When you're doing these one-offs, we can't always say, because in every iteration his glasses aren't magical, because in a lot of iterations he takes them bitches and tosses them off. So that's not every single time. And he
got a
doesn't sit in the
drawer
middle of the sun and
The
stay
over-
God forever.
that's a completely separate
Right.
story.
He
I
probably
was pointing
owns
out
the
storylines.
manufacturer of the glasses in China. 'Cause
The
he throws
overall
them away so
idea
much.
behind his glasses is that when he is wearing them, people cannot see that he is Superman. That has been
Us watchers on the other side of
Yeah.
the TV tube can sure as shit.
Now,
tell
it's
just
that
another
talking
way
about-
DC
I'm talking about
Comics took the
fictionally.
shit
Yes,
on
I know.
fictionally.
It's funny.
That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Now
That's a fair choice, 'cause
interesting
he's
because
excellent.
I don't proclaim to be the most knowledgeable comic book fan of all time. That's the first time I've ever heard that you look at at Clark Kent and the glasses are the reason you can't see that he's Superman for some other purpose other than people just being morons and not going, wait a minute,
Which is kind of
hold
how
on.
I've always seen that it was. As
But
well.
his point about his alter ego being not that important of a character,
Right.
there's been several other characters that have been like that.
That's not-
Thor
that's not a
had
point
an
I'm
alter
making.
ego.
Yeah.
That's not the point I'm making.
Donald Blake.
Donald Blake.
It's you have
Martian Manhunter is
to-
Martian Manhunter all the time.
To hide who he is, he chooses a dorky, passive,
Unassuming.
soft-spoken guy because that's how he views humans.
I don't know about that so much
But
as
I
it's
can-
a
almost
low
I can
smoke
as
understand
weak.
that. I can understand that mindset,
that's why
and I
he
can
chose
appreciate
that
you
alter
saying
ego.
that. I
But
can
almost
appreciate
every
that.
alter
Listen,
ego of any
this
comic
is-
book character is a completely
This is
different
not
person than who they
original.
are.
This
True.
is not, but usually it's the Peter Parker to Spider-Man. It's the Bruce Wayne to Batman.
Yeah.
Bruce Wayne is actually a very quiet,
So-
reserved individual.
So
Yeah, but he's very powerful
But
in a
he's-
sense of Gotham. I mean, so regardless,
well,
he
but-
still holds
but
a lot
Bruce
of power
Wayne
where he's from.
Is no
so
Batman. Peter Parker
Is-
is no Spider-Man.
fair.
But that's not who they are. Bruce Wayne is Bruce Wayne. He puts on a suit, he becomes Batman.
Peter Parker's
Peter Parker's Peter Parker got bit by a spider.
Superman
Now
is
he's Spider-Man.
Superman.
Superman is Superman, but the way he looks at us is you're these dorky.
Well, that's
passive
because they
weak
introduced
people.
Superman first,
But
and then he had to
these are
become
not my
Clark Kent.
original.
And
Right.
maybe
I listened to Kevin Smith talk about this, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is so great."
And it makes
to
sense
hear
because
you
it's
talk
like
about this.
maybe, and I'm kind of being devil's advocate at this point, but maybe Superman is doing everything in his power, not literally, to pretty much polar opposite himself as Superman to
But you
draw
gotta-
as least amount of attention to himself as possible.
You gotta
by
understand-
passively,
Yes,
With
fair
Spider-Man,
point.
when
Absolutely
Spider-Man
fair
was
point.
introduced, he was introduced as Peter Parker. When Batman was introduced, he was introduced as Bruce Wayne. When Superman was introduced, he was introduced as Superman. He wasn't introduced
Because
as
that's-
Clark
he was
Kent.
also
All
born
you're
that
doing
way,
is,
though.
is confirming what I'm saying. That
that's-
is who
I'm
he
explaining-
is.
I'm explaining why
when
they
you
did
look
that
at-
with his
when you look
persona.
at comic book characters, who else is the superhero that is who they are?
Thor.
But then their
Thor
alter
is
egos
probably the
who they
only
put
one.
on. And
Thor.
that's it.
But
And
Martian
that's
Manhunter.
in one storyline, I guess.
Yeah.
But that's what I was
So-
saying is that's why he's like that is because they
Well, I
introduced his
understand that.
superhero
But if
first.
you
Right.
go deeper
Yeah.
into it, like he could still be this really cool, strong, bad son of a bitch that just hooks
Well,
up with
honestly,
women left and right.
honestly, let's. But
he-
we're
he
going to move
chooses-
on. We're going to move on to the next number so we can get into our subject matter for the episode. But what I was going to say is he also wants to be close to Lois. He doesn't have to work a 9 to 5.
That's
he
true.
can do whatever he wants.
Yeah.
So-
He chooses to be a reporter so he can be around Lois.
Yeah. So you were at 3.
Yeah, so now I'm on
you're
2.
on to 2. Yeah.
I'm on 2. Okay. Punisher.
Batman.
Excellent. Both are
Are
great
we
choices.
just saying I'm not?
I mean, yeah. We've talked so much about both of those.
As
Batman
soon as
doesn't
you
need
said
any.
Punisher, I wanted to immediately say Batman.
Now,
It's
honestly,
funny.
just very quickly, back to the crossovers that we were talking about earlier. I think Punisher Batman, phenomenal fucking crossover.
That would be
Yeah.
a great one. Yeah.
yeah.
I have
That's
it.
why I said it so fast, because they're just normal dudes.
Yeah.
But they're fucking
But they're
badass.
bad
They're
as
both
Yeah.
badasses.
Yeah.
So,
I'm
Yeah.
Punisher
sorry,
was
they're not-
Punisher was my number 1.
They're not
on the list.
normal dudes. They're really badass guys.
well, I mean, they're normal.
But
Yeah. I get.
And
Yeah.
psychologically speaking, they're both fucking psychotic.
No powers. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Punisher gets a little more because he doesn't have all the money that Batman does, in my opinion. But I think in just a straight up fist fight, it's going down to the end.
Punisher. That's,
Punisher
for me,
would-
it's
Punisher would-
Whoever
yeah.
gets that knockout punch.
I think it's Punisher because
it's a
Punisher's
battle
going
to
to
the end.
fight dirty, and he's going to be looking to end that fight super quick.
Batman
Not only that,
won't-
he's going to look to be ending Batman's life.
I was going to say Batman
That's the
won't
difference
kill
between
him.
the Batman
and
won't
Punisher
kill him.
will.
Punisher will end his life in
But
a
at the
heartbeat.
same time, Batman could just throw some shit at him, knock
But
him out, lock him up.
you're right. But then we go back to that view of things. Punisher's like a D&D reference. He's like a green dragon, man. He knows where you're coming from. He knows
He's
all
a
the
s-
possible entryways, and he knows he's like Santa in that way. He knows what you're doing
He
and
sees
when you're
you
coming
when
for him.
you're sleeping.
Actually,
So-
you know, it does go back to what we were talking about the juxtaposition of the alter ego and all that. The Punisher is just the Punisher.
Yep.
Frank Castle's the Punisher.
Well,
Same
yeah,
guy.
that Frank Castle is the
So I
Punisher.
never
Just
yeah.
what they call
thought
him.
about
Yeah.
that. He's just that bad dude.
Actually, so technically, Frank Castle is just he doesn't even really call
Right.
himself the
He
Punisher.
doesn't.
Other
He
people
earned
call him
that.
the Punisher.
He
yeah.
allows people to call him the Punisher and use that moniker
He
because
dons-
it's
he dons
so
the symbol.
because it's so
Yeah.
menacing. He dons a skull. They
Yeah.
call him the Punisher.
Yeah.
Who else has earned that? name?
Earned what?
Who's another comic book character that earned their name?
Daredevil.
Daredevil.
Oh, for sure.
They
Daredevil.
called him the Devil of Hell's Kitchen. That's how he got the name.
Yeah.
So where did the dare come from?
Just because all the stunts. I mean, he's
Yeah.
I thought
blind
it
and he's
was
jumping
just
off a
Devil
building.
of Hell's Kitchen,
Right.
but I didn't.
But because of his acrobatics
Yeah.
and his ability to
He's
move.
he's very Batman of Hell's Kitchen. That's basically Daredevil's character. Only
That would
Daredevil's
also
blind.
be another good crossover is Daredevil versus Batman.
Yeah,
Ugh.
that would
That'd be
be
a
an.
pretty good one.
Oh
That'd be-
man,
That'd be a great one.
honestly, I'm going to give the edge to Daredevil on that one.
I probably would too
because he can
Hard not
see
to.
through the wall.
So
he
it's
can
like
hear
Batman.
things coming.
Yeah.
Batman has that psychological, but Daredevil has that like.
However, if you introduce
Yeah.
gadgets, we're going Batman.
Yeah.
Why? Daredevil has gadgets?
Yeah,
He does, but not to the level
Not
that
like
Batman does.
so.
But all
I
it-
think that
all it
Daredevil will
takes
be able
is-
to overcome
I was
quite a
gonna
bit
say,
of
all
Batman's
it takes
gadgets.
is last minute shifts and changes because
Daredevil's
Daredevil adjusts to
working
that
on
shit.
a lawyer's budget,
Oh, jeez. Not a Bruce Wayne
not a
budget.
billionaire's budget.
Hold on a second. Hold on a second. How many broke lawyers do you know?
Well,
How many
I mean,
bro- how many broke
how many Bruce
billionaires?
Waynes do you know?
Money.
All right, so you're number one because it's a
This
snake.
may be a great
so.
time to let's get John Morgan to listen in, and maybe you got a new sponsor. Right
Morgan,
there.
Morgan.
Who's your number one?
Morgan.
You want me to go first?
That's
Well, it's a
tough.
snake.
Well, yeah,
It's
if
on-
we're
it's
sticking
on
it,
you.
you are
guys
number
can
one.
listen.
You are number one.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah, let's do it. 1, 2, 3, and name it.
Say
You
it.
guys ready for that?
All right.
Like a
Well, hold on.
rock
Actually, I
roll.
wanted to ask if anyone could guess it first. I think you'll guess it.
Your number one? Yeah, I know.
Yeah, you'll guess
I
it.
won't be able to guess
all right,
yours.
So I
I
would
can.
like to hear what y'all think our number ones are first. If you don't mind, it's your show, Jack.
Okay.
For
okay,
sure.
I
okay.
get to guess yours as well because I know it.
Yeah, and let's try to guess each other.
How about
right.
you guess each other's? Because I leave.
Here's
or
the
you
thing.
three. I
Jack
can't
Jack
guess.
knows mine 100%, so his
Yeah.
his is out.
Okay.
I'm gonna say
All right, so just us then. Let's
Clay.
just do
Clay, your
this.
number
Yeah.
one is Wolverine.
Yeah, of course.
Oh.
Yeah,
It's Wolverine.
And I know yours. Yours is Iron Man.
100%.
Ooh.
Wolverine.
Damn! I was
is-
so off.
like it's Wolverine way up here, and then there's like 50
Everybody
feet
else.
of nothing, and then there's
That's
number two.
fair. That's
It's-
fair.
I love Wolverine.
Wolverine's the
Always
man.
have. I loved him. He was
Why?
my X-Men comic book was the first one I ever bought.
X-Men
Well,
cartoon.
That's all it
And
takes.
This was before
Which
the
is
cartoon.
honestly,
before the- yeah.
which
Sometimes
honestly
that's all
still
it
holds up
takes.
as one of the best
And
cartoon shows ever.
I read this.
Oh, 100%.
I read this comic book and immediately fell in love with Wolverine. It was. I didn't give a shit about Cyclops, Professor X, Jean Grey, none of them. It was Wolverine. I loved Gambit, but I was so young at that point.
Yeah,
that
you
the
had the
whole
first,
swagger and
uh,
stuff didn't really catch at that point. I loved Wolverine, and then the cartoon comes out, and that was every Saturday morning. I never missed it.
I'll explain quickly why Iron Man is same thing. You know, there's Iron Man 50 feet of crap, and then every other character that exists. Iron Man is Batman times 1 billion. And the reason why I say that is Batman, same amount of resources. They're both billionaires. They're both geniuses, et cetera, et cetera. But, you know, Batman, his technology is limited. He cannot go against the godlike characters in DC with his gadgets alone.
That's true.
He has to rely off of Superman, Martian Manhunter, Aquaman, all these other people to help him. Iron Man has devised suits to fight every godlike character in Marvel. And he devises suits that go against other Marvel characters'
only
powers.
because they didn't write the story for Batman to do that?
But see,
Well,
that's the thing. We don't know.
That
Right,
if you read Dark
right.
Knight's Metal, Batman does
Ooh,
have
he
some
does.
really, really good stuff that he uses.
But he's also
Here's
got
my
a
thing.
Black Lantern ring, too.
Here's my thing. Yes. Here's my thing. You're right. When it comes to the suits, I give the edge to Iron Man all day. You get into smarts, kind of a stalemate. Different kind of smarts. Tony is genius. Batman uses it a little bit of a different way.
Batman applies it better.
Strategically.
Oh, I
and-
disagree
Strategic.
hard.
Yep.
Hard disagree there.
Well, it depends on where you're applying it. Here's where it comes down to, okay, let's take away the suit. Let's take away
It's Batman
the
all
story arcs.
The money.
Let's take away the money, and you have these two guys go at
It's
it.
Batman all day.
Batman's going to
Batman
win that
doesn't
fight.
party.
I mean, in most scenarios, I feel
Batman
like Batman's
doesn't party.
also younger.
Are we forgetting the
ish.
fact that Iron Man literally escaped a cave with scraps?
He
Wait
just
a minute.
said
That's
you-
what we're
you-
talking
you
about.
Take
Batman
away
also
that
climbed
stuff,
out of
just
where's that
man
place?
versus
So,
man.
I mean, if we're talking man versus man, yeah, obviously it's Batman. If
That's what
it's
we're talking
physically okay, if it's physically
We're
just
talking
human
fist to
being
fist.
versus
Batman's
human
like
being,
a
yeah,
432-degree black belt.
yeah, of course.
And so,
But that's neither one of those characters' MO is
as
just to
Tony
be man versus
Stark
man.
is sipping
No, it's not.
champagne, Batman's breaking his ribs.
Like I
That's all I'm
said,
saying.
though, that's neither one of those characters' MO is just to be man versus man, because in the entire DC universe, if Batman was just man, he loses every fight he walks into.
I don't know about that.
No, I think he'd
At
handle
least half.
Man to man, does he beat
No,
Superman?
Batman.
No, I thought you were talking
No,
about his villain.
No. I'm talking about with the rest of the characters.
Batman
so
man to man handles Joker no problem.
I don't know if I
Yeah.
agree with that.
Without Joker's army, no guns, no nothing,
The
just
Joker's
man
an
to
old
man.
man.
fight.
Without Batman's gadgets,
You
though,
throw
too.
Batman and Joker into the octagon, Batman is breaking that.
Joker's
Now, see,
going
it
to
de-
admit that,
It,
too.
it depends on which iteration of Joker you have, because there's the iterations of Joker where he's not that good of a fighter, but there have been iterations of Joker where he matches Batman fist to fist.
He's
See,
also
that's
a
another one of those
psychopath,
things where
so-
we're talking about one-off scenarios. You know
No,
what I mean?
that's not a one-off.
Right
There's
now-
been several story arcs with him.
Here's what I'm saying. Right now, there's an episode where Joker has taken over Dr. Manhattan and is omnipotent, but I can't treat that as the bar for the Joker. We're talking about the Joker that
standard
everyone
Joker
knows.
that everybody knows is
But
not
yeah,
a fighter.
I would agree with that if we're talking
You
about
gotta go
human
Batman
being
on
versus
that.
human. But if we're talking about overall character, I
Well,
think Iron Man takes that.
Iron Man was not a fighter until he had the suit.
Yeah, I gotta agree. But
man
hey,
was a
hey,
fighter.
there's something to be said for his resourcefulness. But yeah, absolutely, he does
Yeah.
get out of there with a cave and high tech.
Honestly,
technology.
technically, Batman wasn't a fighter either until he donned the suit.
Well, he was a fighter.
He was
that.
a fighter, but he didn't fight until he put on
It
the
doesn't
suit.
matter. He's still a fighter.
I'm aware of that. If we're talking about the entire character,
If he ran into Tony Stark on his way back to,
we can pick that.
house?
We can pick that apart all
Yeah,
we want.
that's
But if
the
we're talking
beautiful
about
thing
the
about
overall
comics.
character, Iron Man takes
all I
that.
know is it's a Judy chop to the neck and Tony Stark goes down.
Overall character. I mean, it's one of those you'd have to run it into the simulator, run it 100 times.
Yeah.
Because
You
we're
get
not
100
going to
different
know
simulations
right?
too.
Because if Batman gets an EMP and drops the suit, Tony's done.
Right.
There are suits that are.
There are.
Impervious
Would he
to
have
EMP.
worn that day? Was he? You know what I
How
mean?
do
Is
you
he
know?
expecting
Now,
it?
this is the one thing that I'll give both characters. Both characters know how to study their opponent
Very good.
before going
Yeah,
into
very
the
true.
fight. Neither one of them would go fight each other without studying them for weeks on end
100%.
and preparing each other for it.
And if you give that much preparation, that's a tough call. Especially if Batman knows what he's going up against. That's tough.
If they
that's all
walked into each
personal
other
opinion.
in a pick and save parking lot, then yeah, it's going to be.
It's all personal.
Batman.
They hit
It's
each other
all
walking out of Walmart.
personal.
Okay, so
You mean Restoration Hardware?
Sure. Cool. I just wanted to have a brief discussion today because it is Halloween that it's coming out
Yes.
about some of the major slashers in the genre, which obviously there's 3 that come to mind.
Can I throw a segue out there for you real quick?
Let me just name these 3 and then we'll get right into that.
3?
Okay.
Yeah, we're going to start with 3.
Okay.
Mike Myers, Freddy Krueger,
Okay.
Jason Voorhees.
So this quick segue is all Batman, Tony Stark, all these guys. Do they sleep?
Ooh,
No,
Freddy Krueger kills them all
it's true.
because they sleep, and he comes into their dreams.
True
And
story.
he kills them in their
I'm
dreams.
feeling it. I'm feeling the
So
song.
Freddy is actually the baddest mofo on the planet.
Anyway.
You just don't like him because he's all wrinkled. He can't help he was in a fire.
He wasn't wrinkled. He's burnt to a crisp, man. All of the degrees. That's what he is.
if there were a 5th degree burn,
Yeah.
that's Freddy Krueger.
Yeah,
Oh.
Is there a 4th degree?
there is.
There's
There
a
is.
I thought it was
1,000 degree.
third.
No, there's a 4th degree burn.
Oh.
Third-degree burns
Learn
are
something
quite
new every
terrible,
day,
but
kids.
there are worse. I want to just ask a couple questions about these serial killers. We can get into Leatherface and Ghostface.
No.
What is his name?
I love Leatherface.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm about them, but
I do.
you named the one
These
I
are the
care
classics. These are the
Yeah.
classics.
Leatherface is kind of impractical because
Well,
you
Leatherface
have to be
is
on a
real.
road trip, your car has to malfunction, and you have to do it in the county in which Leatherface lives.
about. Near a
But
garage with
Leatherface is
chainsaws.
based on somebody.
There's,
Yes, he is.
It's Ed Gein.
So
Leatherface is based off about 7 or 8 different people, but the
different people that they meshed them all.
So the
together,
wearing the skin,
so,
that's
yeah,
Ed Gein. And by the way, just for the listeners at home, Ed Gein is from Wisconsin.
Yeah, perfect.
Surprise, surprise.
It puts the lotion on its skin.
Or else it gets the hose.
But no, Leatherface is based off about 7 or 8 different
Yeah,
serial
and
killers.
They just
Yeah.
meshed them all together.
Which a
yeah.
lot of these serial killers.
But the 3 that
typically
you
are.
named, yes.
I was
they
going to say,
by
my
far
favorite one
head
is based
shoulders.
off of no one. 'cause
Actually,
he's
my
not
favorite
real.
is Jennifer from Jennifer's Body because hot.
I've literally never even heard of
Okay,
Jennifer's Body.
wait a
Man
second.
hands.
We're talking about horror films, not
Can
horror films.
Can we get back
Jennifer
into
Body is
Yes, we
both.
can.
And there's a lot of
Hers.
horrors in these horror films that we're going to talk about.
That is very true. So, of those 3, I have a question for everybody.
Who's your favorite, and can I sing the song? Yes, please. I would love to.
I'd really
all the
appreciate if
listeners
you
at
did
home.
that at the very end. Let's see. Who do we think of these serial killers, all 3? And I'm cheating a little bit because I know the answer because our very, very good friends at Movies, Films, and Flicks did something with Rotten Tomatoes reviewing all of these killers. And that's one of the things that inspired me to want to talk about them here today. I want to talk about who's your favorite, who would you least like to be killed by, who has the highest kill count among all the killers, and just, general stuff like that.
So I'll start with my. Does it matter which order we go in?
No.
Because I would like to tell you right now who my least
Hold
likely
on.
to be, or least favorite to be killed
Okay,
by.
we can do
Can
least
we-
likely
can
and
we-
least favorite to be killed
right.
by.
But can we also do Mary Kill F as well?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So the one that I would least like to be killed by, the
Yeah.
one that I would hate, it's fucking Freddy Krueger immediately. First of all, who likes nightmares?
Yeah.
No one likes nightmares. And then to have a fucking dude that's going to reach through, the dimension of sleep and existence and kill you, fuck him.
And that goes to the thing that Clay said, too, is they all go to sleep.
Yeah, that's I got to concur 100% because you can't not sleep.
Yeah.
Eventually, before you even realize it, you're asleep, and now Freddy's inside.
How about this?
But
Let's
are we
take-
talking about who we'd least like to be killed by?
Yes, absolutely. I would much rather.
Because he might scare me the most, but I sure as shit don't want to be fucking killed by Jason with
But
this
that's the thing.
dull-ass machete.
That's the thing. He's
Covered
going to
in
scare
fucking
you and kill you.
swamp
Jason's
scum.
just going to hatch you to death.
Here's the thing.
Hatchet you to death.
That's my pick, too, is Freddy Krueger.
No.
Because
It's the stalker.
he's going to make it last. You ever had a dream that felt like it was for 2 freaking hours and you've been asleep for 10 minutes?
Yep.
Now, put torturing and killing you in that equation.
That's
How
fine.
long could he
I'll
do
take
that?
So
I'll take that. I'll
Freddy
take somebody
Krueger-
killing me in my fucking sleep over a swamp dull machete cutting into my
So here's
dead
one.
corpse.
Freddy Krueger to me personally was the most scary because you couldn't ever get away from him because
He's the
eventually you have to go to
scariest.
sleep. So that's
Yeah.
what made it scary.
Absolutely.
But he also tortured you in your dreams.
Fair enough.
You
Exactly.
weren't just in a dark room or in your bedroom with Freddy. He painted this nasty, scary picture. So that always got me.
What are you doing?
I gotta use that.
Oh,
He's standing. So for
standing
the viewers at home,
up,
he is
leaning on it.
standing up, bent over
But I
into the
wanted-
microphone.
I wanted to say this, and you made me lose it. It was something Jack said that I wanted to say before I went. It was important.
apologies.
So thanks a lot,
my
Ryan.
apologies.
Fucking Wisconsin contribution. I'll be back, and hopefully I remember.
This went well.
I have to say, I have to
It
agree
went
with
well.
I have to agree with everybody in the room. As far as the scariest death and the prolonged death, of course, Freddy. I mean,
Okay.
of course. But as far as like in the moment, here I am, I'm dying. Do I want to be killed by a fire? Do I want to be killed by a claw of fucking dagger fingers? Do I want to be killed by a probably likely sharpened kitchen knife? Or do I want to be killed by this disgusting, dull ass fucking
who's
swamp
got the
riddled
fire
machete?
powers? What are you talking about?
I'm talking about dying in your dreams. Because
Oh.
Freddy has the capability of doing that sort of shit.
He
Would
can
I
do anything.
rather do it that way and be like dying in my dream, or would I rather be cut to death with 1,000 freaking whacks
I think
with
you're-
a dull swamp ass machete?
I think you're forgetting that what happens to you in the dream
Also,
happens
Jason's
to you in
really
real life.
fucking fast. So if you're running from him, talk about terrifying.
But
In
here's-
which
here's
movie
what
is
I'm
he
saying.
fast?
Jason's
yeah.
always fast.
He's
isn't
always
he?
No.
walking.
He's walking.
Oh,
Yeah.
who's the one that runs?
None.
None of
Oh.
them. Literally none of them.
None of them.
Maybe I've just had a dream about.
Until they make a
Jason,
horror movie with
And let me go
Usain
ahead
Bolt, none of them are
Let me
fucking
go ahead
running.
and say this too. Jason wouldn't fit in this room.
Fair enough.
He's a big dude.
He's a big guy.
And I tell you what, sure, he can hack at me 1,000 times with that machete. I guarantee you, I'm dead after the first swing.
I don't know.
Hack
I don't
away,
know.
homie.
And if you're not, you're going into
Swamp
shock and you're
riddled.
not feeling anything after
Yeah.
the first swing.
Exactly. Why would I want to sit there and be set on fire and drowned and clawed and tortured over and over and over
Fair
again?
enough.
Get it and get it done, man.
Yeah.
Even Mike Myers will grab you around the throat and shove that butcher knife up your stomach, and yeah, you're dead.
I think I'm thinking a little less broad and a little bit more like in the moments of death. Not all the shit that happens beforehand. It's in the moments of death. Who would you
But
prefer to
even
kill
then,
you?
that machete's going to take maybe 60 to 120 seconds to kill you. Freddy's going to take hours to kill you
In your dream.
in your dream, which is
Okay.
still real life. 'Cause
I'm not changing my answer because the
It's-
listeners need diversity.
It's
so.
the talking.
The listeners are on their other end going, I wouldn't pick that at all. And they
well,
don't
that's
care.
fine.
It's the
Someone agrees with me.
It's the stalking that Freddy does that
Yep.
makes it so scary.
Very
I mean,
daunting.
I think the
Jason-
listeners are probably like trying
And
to picture
let's-
what Clay was doing a minute ago.
Let's not forget that with Michael Myers, let's use him as an example.
Now,
'cause
I would say if there's
I
a-
think Michael's the lesser of the three, in my opinion, because what's her name?
Jamie Lee Curtis.
Her.
Jamie Lee Curtis still alive. She's been getting away from him for decades.
And it's Jamie Lee Curtis.
So I'm just saying.
There's also a point of that where there's a relationship there.
Brother and
True.
sister.
True,
and
true.
Michael is trying to torture her and scare her. And by the time he's getting around to I'm going to kill Jamie Lee Curtis, depending on which movie you're discussing, she knows he's coming. She sees it coming from a mile away. And most of these killers, barring Freddy, aren't aren't going to catch you if you know they're coming. Because you can leave, get in a car, and drive away, and they're not going to follow you.
So basically, you're saying that Michael Myers has a soft spot for his sister.
I do.
Freddy wouldn't.
I don't know if it's a soft spot. I think he actually wants to prolong her death. He wants to make her suffer for decades before he finally kills her, is what his goal was.
I said he was the lesser of the three, but at the same time, I remember when my sister put me in a neck brace because she pushed me down and I hit this magazine rack at the house, and I wanted to kill her and prolong it as well. So I relate to him and see it, but I still think he's the lesser of the three, in my opinion. I mean, I would, if I had to run into any three of them, it would be him.
Now, see, it depends on which Jason you're talking about. If you're talking about like the 5th or 6th sequel where he's a 300-pound man with a 1% body fat, then yeah, I probably want to run into Mike Myers over anyone else.
I'd like to know how
Fair
many
enough.
times Jason's been shot.
That's an interesting question, and I guarantee you that statistic is out there somewhere.
I'm sure it is.
But there's been several
I'd
times
like
where
to
Michael
know
Myers
that.
he's been shot.
And I'd
Shot,
like to know
stabbed,
that
burned.
as well.
What was
I
the
would.
question?
Beat to death with a pipe. What's the next question?
Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
go with that.
Well, the next question that I have written down here
Well, who's
is,
got the
who
higher
would you
body
least like to be killed by? What's the highest body count?
Jason.
Highest body count is Jason?
I'm going to say Jason.
I'm going to go with Freddy on that.
I gotta
he
go
has
with
endless-
I gotta go.
I'll
with
tell you this.
Freddy.
I'll tell you this.
Endless reach.
I know who the winner is, and it is kind of a landslide victory. No, not really. But there's 1 and 2, and then somebody is way at the bottom.
I gotta go with Freddy.
I have to
on
too.
this
He has an
one.
endless reach. Endless reach.
And
We're
just
talking about-
so many.
We're just talking about cinematic body count.
Confirmed
Yeah.
kills.
Confirmed cinematic body
kills
count.
in the movies.
so many movies.
I can
yes,
see where you're coming from then, because
Michael
he
Myers
kills
has had a
groups
lot
of
movies,
people
and
in every
Jason
movie.
has, but
They've all had quite a few movies, and I actually know their total gross of all
I'm
their
gonna
movies.
stick
How
with
much
Freddy.
money they made.
That's another question I'll answer. Who has made the most money?
I'm sticking with Freddy.
So we got
Freddy?
2 Freddys and
the only-
Jason.
all right, so body count, I'm going with Freddy as well as most gross. I got to go with Freddy just because I respect Wes Craven.
We'll get to that. We'll get to the most gross. But as far as kill counts go,
I got to go Freddy.
you guys both went Freddy.
Freddy.
You went Jason Voorhees. You're both wrong.
It's Michael fucking Myers.
Is it Mike?
Mike Myers has a
What?
total. Well, let's start at the bottom.
Yeah, let's hear it.
It's Michael
I wanna
Myers,
hear
not
this
Mike
difference.
Myers. Not to be confused.
Michael Myers, correct.
Who's number 3?
You guys are at the bottom.
What?
Freddy Krueger only has 40 kills.
Wow.
40
You want to know why?
among all his movies.
You want to know why I missed it so much? Because it was so freaking scary. I didn't watch half of it.
So how many does Jason have?
Jason completes a couple laps around the pool before getting there. Oh my God. I'm wrong. I read this wrong. You are correct. Jason Voorhees is number 1. Mike Myers has 140 kills
Wow.
on screen.
Okay.
And you
what's
said you weren't going to
Jason's?
contribute.
Jason Voorhees comes in at a whopping 157
So
kills.
not too far ahead of
Those
Mike.
Fucking summer
But that's
campers.
I know he kills them in groups. That's why. I was
Jason
like, I
has
get it.
also been to Manhattan. Jason has been to hell.
I feel like my
Jason's been a lot of different places.
Jason was in space. Jason
Yep.
X.
Jason
Oh,
X
Lord
fought
have mercy.
Freddy.
And Jason
did fight
fought
Freddy.
Freddy to a stalemate.
That was actually that one is as
Which is
cheesy
pure-
as that movie
which
was.
is pure Hollywood because Jason goes to sleep, Freddy goes night night.
Yeah, actually, Jason
you're gonna
Jason went toe to toe with him in his
Yeah.
dream.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, he kind of did.
Yeah, he did.
I don't care. That's
So-
Hollywood's
That's a freaking
bullshit
scary
spin.
ass movie.
So here's what
Freddy
happened.
comes
Ooh, I
in
actually
there,
went and saw
one
that
bed,
movie with-
one blanket. You're going night night.
So all right, hold on. We're complaining about a Hollywood spin on a character who kills you in your dreams. It's basically what you're upset about right now.
He's got a point, though, because Jason did get out of the dream thanks to a camper. But in the beginning, Freddy is absolutely owning Jason
He
in
is.
the dream.
He is.
Owning him. Full of water, drowning, makes Jason back into being a little kid.
Yep.
Freddy turns into Jason's mom and
Yep.
starts scolding
Yeah.
him in the dream. He doesn't wake up until the girl shows up, and she wakes them both up.
Yep. And then Jason goes off and starts fucking Freddy up.
The fight is extraordinarily one-sided after Jason wakes up.
Freddy didn't need a sidekick.
Neither
Fair
did
enough.
Jason.
He
Jason
needed
had
that
to be
camper.
woken up.
Well, Freddy needed a sidekick to put Jason to sleep.
Yeah, he did.
That's
Well,
true. He did.
Let me
He
tell
did.
you
He
something
did.
right now. Horse-faced Thor comes
Oh
in.
my
Rex
gosh.
All right, let's go on to highest. Let's go to highest
Highest
gross.
gross.
Highest
All
gross.
right, all right. So, just some little fun facts here, just to kind of get our minds into where our numbers are going to be. Halloween 1978's budget was $1 million.
Wow.
And they pulled on their $1 million budget in 1978 $188 million.
Now, are we talking about the entire? We're talking. So
Nope, that's
gross.
one
No.
movie.
What-
No.
My question is
The full question is gross movies
for the
all
entire
time.
franchise,
Can
start
you-
to finish.
can
Mike
you
Myers.
easily
Okay.
I'm going with
give
Halloween.
us-
Absolutely.
Mike Myers.
Hold on.
Easily give us a total number of movies for each. Are you able to
I,
do
I,
that?
I have it for 2. I got to look up the last one.
Okay.
What's the last one?
But
I'll look up right now.
I think Freddy is the one that I don't have. So Friday the
least
13th.
5.
Friday the 13th, where, spoiler alert, it's Jason's mom, not Jason. That one, I don't know the budget for it, but it grossed $138 million.
I would have to assume that budget is somewhere near Halloween 1.
Yeah. Freddy Krueger's, I don't have his number for his
9.
first film.
He has 9 movies.
Sorry, I do know that part.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what his the gross for the first movie was like I do in the other, but I'll tell you their averages. Jason averages, well, that's going to give it away.
That'll give it away.
Don't tell us that.
So let's start with
You
Freddy
want box
Krueger.
office number
I got it all.
for Freddy's first?
For his first movie, yeah.
Okay.
I want total number of movies if you can easily do it for each.
11 for Freddy, or not for 9 for Freddy, 11 for Michael, and I don't know how much for Jason.
9. Oh, for
Gotta
Jason?
be more
But
than
Jason,
11.
so one of Freddy's is one of Jason's.
For
so keep
Michael?
that in him.
No.
For Jason.
For Michael, it's 11.
No, I'm talking about for Jason. It's got to be.
Oh. Well, he's got
Got to be.
I don't know, to be honest
And
with you.
then Freddy versus Jason.
Friday the
are together.
13th, Friday the 13th Part 2.
There's part like 3 and 4.
Jason X,
Yeah.
Jason Takes Manhattan.
Yeah.
There's a bunch.
There's
It
a
went
lot.
Friday the 13th. Like
Well, no.
6.
Here we go. Let's just Google it. How many movies?
2,
Let's
3.
hit the Google button.
16.
We are
Jason movies?
Googling the
16
numbers.
Jason
yeah.
movies, if this is correct. But he apparently shows face in one of the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. Jason Goes to Hell, Freddy versus Jason, whatever the fuck is in space, whatever
Jason
you guys
X.
were saying. So there's quite a bit. Behind the Mask, which I'm assuming
Films.
is... Okay.
Let's go there.
A lot. At least 12.
Films.
At least 12 standalone
1,
movies.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
But
No, it's not.
he's in a lot of other things, though. So if you're talking about as a character...
Well, no, we're talking
Six?
about where it's his movie,
6.
so not a cameo. It's
Okay, so
his movie.
6.
Yeah.
So
And
there's
Freddy
8.
versus Jason counts for both.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, so 6 and then
All right.
9 for Freddy.
I think there's
So,
a very obvious
6
answer here.
Jason movies.
There's 6
shitting
Jason
me.
movies. No.
But how
Okay.
many Michael
All right.
Myers movies
Let's
are
do
there?
this
11.
again. 11 and 9 for
I already
Freddy.
said Halloween.
Yeah,
I think it's
there's a
Halloween.
very obvious answer here.
Think so?
It's just a great... I mean, it's just... I
So,
don't...
let's do final answers.
Michael Myers.
Michael Myers is number 1, you think?
Clay.
You said 11 Michael Myers movies. How many for Freddy?
9.
9 for Freddy, 6 for Jason.
They both share Freddy versus Jason.
You guys are really going to be surprised when you're wrong.
Well, I'm wrong. Thanks. Appreciate it.
I want to go... because of how far back they go, I want to go with Freddy again.
I have to go Jason just because Jason is the iconic broad spectrum appeal.
I'm going with Freddy
slasher.
Krueger.
I think it's Mike Myers is the icon.
I feel like
disagree
Michael
with that.
Myers, but
See, I
because
think
it's
Jason's
Halloween,
bigger.
because
Jason,
his movies
Jason,
are
the
Halloween.
mask,
Hockey
the
mask.
the mask. Yeah, that's the
Is
most iconic.
Way more iconic.
That's
I'm
the most
I'm still going
iconic
with Freddy
costume that
Krueger.
there is.
I guarantee you, if we went
Hold
to
on.
the Philippines,
Hold on.
and
Final
we polled
answers.
the audience, and we said, "Look at these 2 masks. Can you tell me who wore these?" More people are going to tell you Jason. Go to China, the same thing. That hockey mask is iconic.
I agree.
All right, so
But-
I'm gonna
Over
I'm gonna
numbers.
respond to that after we go to our numbers. In last place, Freddy Krueger,
F.
739 million.
Jesus,
Coming in,
Because he's deep in the 80s.
Is Wes Craven listening?
coming in second.
because he should.
And I'll tell you this: it's by 11 million that it's a difference.
Oh, so close.
That's it.
Wow, Jesus.
That's it.
That's so
Second
close.
place.
Hold on. And the first 2 stats you threw out were Michael Myers and Jason's first movies, and one of them was 50 million more than the other.
So Mike Myers has the highest opening.
You said 188 million,
Yeah.
and then Jason was 138.
Yeah.
So Mike got out to a 50 million head start.
And also has more movies.
So it's Mike Myers?
Mike Myers is in second place with $851 million.
Jason.
No, so I think that supports our argument that Jason is the more iconic.
It's the iconic
He's
guy.
the more iconic.
That hockey
Yeah.
mask.
Okay. So
I didn't
and
watch
Jason,
hockey till they
Jason
stopped
does
making
come in
his
first
movies.
place in total gross with $862 million.
Thought I'd been wrong either way.
I stopped.
Let's hear.
I did not watch hockey until I stopped watching Jason movies.
Oh my god!
I want to hear his response on why Jason is not the most iconic of the three.
Okay. Let's talk
I would
about
like to know, 'cause I do respect your
cultural
opinion.
relevance, right? When you think of Freddy Krueger, you think of Elm Street, you think of this particular melody.
1, 2, Freddy's coming for you.
Right. You think of Jason Voorhees. I'm not saying he's not an icon, but you think of Camp Crystal Lake and the Campers. What do you think of when you think of Michael Myers?
That short-haired chick.
The national holiday of Halloween.
Now here's my. I have the
And a
perfect
kitchen
response.
knife.
Halloween.
I already got the perfect response. To
I
this.
don't correlate the name of the movie to the holiday.
It's
I don't do
Halloween
Can I take this
H2O.
All I
Can I-
think
can I
of
take
is,
this one?
All I think of when I think Halloween is Jamie Lee Curtis.
Oh Jesus!
Clay, I already got the perfect
I'd love
response
it.
to this.
I'd
I
love
already
to
got
hear
the-
it.
Okay.
Give it.
I'd love to hear
So
it.
Do you
when
have it?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
And I think you're going to agree with me on this. When you think of Michael Myers, you think of Halloween,
Right.
which is one day a year.
Right?
How many different months have a Friday the 13th?
2 to 3 a year.
So there are more days in a year already. And the
But
first,
who
the first
the
thing
hell
you think
decides
of,
to
the
watch
first-
Friday the 13th randomly in
every
April?
single Friday the 13th, every year, they have a Jason marathon on some
That's
obscure
true.
channel like TNT
That's
or
true.
TBS.
They do do that.
Is
That's true.
it allowed on this podcast for me to interrupt with something that's totally off topic?
No, goddamn it, it's not. We're gonna stay on topic, and that's what we're gonna do. Sorry, I had to go back and delete it because it wasn't related. But anyway, still love you.
Look at Clay.
Still love you.
He looks like he's going to cry.
His lip is quivering. Jack, you apologize to him right now.
I refuse.
It was about sports ball.
Yeah, but that's okay.
Unrelated.
Clay,
That's
I will
okay.
hold your hand in the car.
Yeah.
To cuddle me.
So let's get back to
Let's talk
these
about
three
some
killers.
favorites.
So the point that I was originally making,
Yeah.
Friday the 13th is a more, I mean, that day happens more often.
Yeah.
So that alone is going to allow Jason to be
It
more.
does happen
Ain't
more
nobody
often,
looking
but
at
I'd venture to say, with all the Friday 13th throughout the year, the people who stop and celebrate Jason Voorhees on that day is not going to be quite as big a number as the people who celebrate Halloween nationwide, which is what he's known for.
But you still celebrate Jason on Halloween too, but then he's got the. I mean, his
Right.
name alone is associated with that.
I just
with
feel
that
like
day.
it takes
I
a
would
very,
love to
very
know.
true Jason Voorhees character or fan to be watching Friday the 13th shit in April.
I would love to know which
Just saying.
costume grosses more.
That's actually
an
a
excellent
great question. Great question.
That's an excellent question, and I don't know if we'll be able to find an accurate answer for that, but I'm happy to look.
I think even if it's
He's
reasonably
going to
close.
Google that shit.
I've been waiting for my moment to push that button. So
this Google search button has been
meantime-
getting lots of work today.
In the meantime, get your favorite in mind. It can even be outside of those three. Your favorite horror character and why.
okay.
So
Yes.
think about that for a second while Jack's Googling, because I definitely want to talk about
Overall scary films,
Sure.
not just the
Why not?
slasher serial killer.
Actually,
I like that.
I have a
that.
very interesting
Also
wild
would
card
like
that I'm
to
going to
say
throw out
That's
there.
fine. I
Also
don't.
All
like-
right,
I'm
hold
sticking-
on.
I'm
So,
sticking with the
so
theme.
here's what I'm going with my search here. You guys tell me. Top Halloween costume mask sales.
Let's do it.
Can we try that?
I think
Yeah.
that's a
Sure,
good one.
because
Because
I mean, it'll be
it's
on
really
there
the
somewhere.
iconic
Well,
ones.
What is the best-selling Halloween
while
costume?
we're getting
There
those
we go.
I'm going with
numbers,
Michael Myers on
don't
this.
forget to pick up your nut penny soap.
Oh no.
Nut
the women
penny,
will
penny,
be
and butt
crawling
nickel.
all over
Nickel.
you.
All right,
11
let's
best
go with
Halloween
New
masks.
York Magazine. 11 best Halloween masks.
I'm telling you, Michael Myers is going to be on this
Take a
because
look.
his
They're
is
both
the
gonna
most,
be on it
his is the
because-
most daunting though, because it has
Listen.
that humanistic features.
Here, I'll say this. To support everybody here. If Jason Voorhees is number one, Mike Myers is 1A. If Mike Myers is number one, Jason Voorhees is 1A. There's really no
Freddy Krueger's not a mask.
Unless-
Chewbacca's number one.
Unless Jason
not
is
a
one,
man.
Right there.
You know, Michael
Best-
Myers is
best
like 9.
rated-
boom,
Less expensive
Jason.
Halloween mask.
Jason Voorhees.
Jason mask. Let's see if Mike is on the list. Best Halloween masquerade.
Hold on. So Jason,
Pumpkinhead.
Oh yeah,
Jason-
he's second one up there.
An
Second one up
effing
there.
unicorn
Right up there.
beats it.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Jason
You know what?
Sherman. Okay, this is a very.
Cowhead.
This is a very fucking
Yeah, this is a weird
arbitrary.
list.
This is an arbitrary list right here. When you
Yeah.
have German Shepherd,
This is a weak list.
Hey,
Unicorn.
Google best-selling mask Jason Michael Myers. Try that.
Best-selling mask, Jason.
Best
Michael
Seek a
Rhino,
book.
you going to help me out here?
best seek a book.
Best-selling mask Jason Michael Myers.
Myers. More Googles to come, folks.
I really would like to know this because I wouldn't be
Let's see.
surprised if I was wrong.
Is Jason better than Michael Myers?
That's very leading.
All right.
Right there, Michael Myers versus Jason Voorhees, the second one down.
Right here?
That one right there. Who's
Who's-
the best masked?
Well, this is going to be a little bit different.
It is a
that's okay.
sci-fi
We'll go
article,
with
so
It is, but it's talking about who's the best masked slayer.
Yeah,
But we gotta get into
wanna know the
favorites and
best
why, so-
selling. We want to know the best selling.
Yeah, best selling. Well, here's this. I typed in Jason. Oh, let me put Voorhees. Let me give him because I did Michael Myers. Voorhees. All right.
My internet doesn't work.
Well, good thing this thing is
Internet's
hardwired.
not so great in here. Turn
All
off
right,
that
so
Wi-Fi.
here we go.
Wi-Fi's on.
How Jason Voorhees are similar.
Oh, we
Nope,
turned it
that's
off.
not it. Friday the 13th mask. Nope. Adult unisex Jason Voorhees costume for all you ladies Jason Voorhees fans out there. I'm not seeing something that's going to give us a good answer.
Let's
The-
make up
the
our
thing
own
with-
answer and move on.
the thing with Google, try and make it vague. So I would just what we're gonna do one more.
Yeah.
Do Jason Voorhees versus Michael Myers,
It's right there.
and
versus
then
Michael Myers.
add mask sale.
That actually
Mask
is a very
sale.
Mask sale.
Let's
Let's
see.
see.
That's
Let's
a
see.
good
Let's see.
search.
Mike, this
Don't
is
watch any
Just
videos.
keep scrolling down.
Fan films. Adult unisex Jason for sale.
Looks
Yeah,
like
I don't
the same.
know. We're gonna have to dig
Oh, well.
deep for these numbers. I don't know if we're gonna
Yeah,
find them.
Maybe
This
we'll
is a
post
tough
it.
one.
Maybe
Hey,
we'll post it
maybe,
in the description.
maybe the listeners can go find it
Yeah.
and let y'all
and
know.
then comment below.
Yeah.
I thought
Comment
that said
below or
Jason
above or beside.
Derulo for a second.
Please
I'll tell you
let us
what.
know.
Jason Derulo.
I feel like this is the Google of the night, in my opinion.
Which
Yeah.
one is it? What's the most popular Google of the night?
This one
No.
right here.
What's it going to be?
No, the one we just had.
The one we're looking for
Oh.
right now that we can't find the answer.
It's the one that we want
I
the
would-
listeners to
I would
respond.
love to check Twitter, and one of your listeners gives
having
us
given
this
us the answer.
I would
Okay.
love that.
In the meantime,
You know what we could do is always do a poll on the
Because
page.
I got to be
Yeah,
honest with
yeah,
you, I wouldn't be surprised if you're right, but I'm pretty sure it's Jason.
I'll tell you why you might be right, because last year I went as Michael Myers.
and probably
and
will this year too.
I'll tell you what, there wasn't a single soul out there that didn't know me.
Right. There
Yeah.
were 5-year-olds coming up to us being like, Michael Myers, you're my favorite. It was the crazy. And then a bunch of moms were like, ooh, can I take a picture with you? And then there were 13, 14-year-olds that were screaming and running down the street.
Can I
Huge
pose a
generational crap.
poll question for the page?
Sure.
Sure.
So it's a 4-part poll question.
Oh, boy.
Well, that's going to be difficult.
Shit.
Well,
me,
no,
right?
hold on.
Or
Now,
a four-choice poll question.
well, you can't
mean?
do a fucking 40-choice poll question.
You just said a
Here's
Four
what we're-
parts.
Yeah.
No,
That
I'm
means
sorry.
four different
Four
questions.
polls.
Options.
4 options. Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
4
This
options.
is Wisconsin education, people. Oh,
4
yeah, he's from
poll.
Rockford.
4 poll. 4 options. Let me finish. Who is the most iconic slasher? You do Jason, Michael,
Freddy, or other.
and
And then
see
let
what the
them fill it
results
in.
are.
So,
yeah.
so,
Okay.
so they broke this down. This thing from Rotten Tomatoes that our good friend Mark Hoffmeyer contributes to, and they went with highest grossing, highest kill count, cultural relevance, all that other stuff, and they broke it down in detail. And Freddy Krueger won the whole thing. He's got the worst numbers of all of them. But
I can see it because he's so scary. He's just
Yeah.
so
But let's-
scary.
yeah.
And what?
and
do you
he
watch-
won because of the banter.
Why do you watch horror films? Because they scare you.
Yeah.
You know, you
And
want
he's
to be scared.
effing terrifying
And dude,
on every
Wes
level.
Craven is a phenomenal
Here's the thing that
guy. He's the top of the horror film class, in my opinion.
I agree. I am more scared of the Michaels or the Jasons of the world because I
They're
think
more realistic.
but there's zero room for negotiation with either of them. You could talk to Freddy; he'll talk back to you. There's a chance you could tell me something he's going to like. Yeah, he may get you at the end of the day if you're not on Elm Street. He won't, but. Let's say Mike Myers comes in the room and
Hey,
you're
Mike.
like, Mike, please don't. He doesn't give off.
But here's the thing about dreamscaping is
On
he
Elm
can-
Street.
He can. Is it only on Elm Street?
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Only on Elm Street.
Yep.
Well, with the exception of Jason versus Freddy.
Yeah.
Because that was at Camp
So-
Voorhees, or
well,
Camp
Crystal Lake.
Crystal Lake,
If-
yeah.
If you can bounce from dream to dream, from person to person, which is what Freddy did in the later
Yeah,
movies,
yeah.
I can't remember what it was. It was the late 90s. We're talking 98, 99. That Freddy movie.
Here's what I think it had to be in the Freddy.
Wes Craven's New Nightmare. Watch it. Freddy bounces between dreams off Elm Street. He just started with somebody on Elm Street.
So here's the thing. You have to be aware of Freddy. You have to be scared of Freddy. And those are two, I think, prerequisites that you have to have for him to get after you.
Okay, so on the same, just using the same type of parameters, Michael or Jason kicks my front door in. My alarm goes off. I've got these whammy shells for my shotgun that'll put a hole in them that big. And for those listening,
that'll work for one of them.
It's about a foot,
The size of a 10-inch
around.
pizza.
That'll work for one of
I'm
them.
hungry.
So I'm pretty sure that's going to be okay. And if that first one don't work, I got an over-under double barrel, so that second whammy's going in the face. So the head's gone.
This is the scenario of which they are needing to break and enter into your home.
But
Right.
if I'm in my home, how are they going to get to me?
Yeah,
I don't
it's
go
true.
to summer camp.
You don't know that.
Hey, can I?
What if the summer camp at Crystal Lake went bankrupt? Jason's just fucking walking around the woods by himself.
Jason's going to open up a food truck at that point.
Yeah, he is.
Exactly, and he's going to be looking like the
his
Pablo Escobar guy
his
from
people
the show
skills, yeah.
Narcos, just sitting there in an empty pool in a swing. Just
That was when he was at his
staring
prison,
around
man.
like,
If I'm being honest, I think he's going to be happier than a pig in shit because now all the teenagers are gone. And he
And
doesn't
that's
have
kind
to
of
worry
what he
about
wanted.
it.
He gets to live in
And so,
peace.
what brings him happiness? Being left the fuck alone.
Yep.
What brings Michael Myers happiness?
Killing people.
Death.
Chasing after his sister.
I think if his
What
sister was out of the
brings-
picture, he'd still kill people.
What brings Freddy Krueger his sole happiness?
Torturing children.
Scaring the
Torturing
absolute
children.
Torturing
absolutely shit out of people.
Yeah.
Just scaring, not just torturing,
Children.
and then killing them.
Yeah.
Can I throw a wrench into this engine real quick?
That's all we got time for today here on the Alter Ego. No, go ahead.
I realize this, and I don't even know what kind of reaction I'm going to get out of this, but what about Chucky?
There's
You
no
know,
room for
Chucky
him in
is
this room.
the least worried I am of all the serial killers.
But
Of
he
all
still
of them.
killed a lot of people.
I
He
will
did.
pull
I don't know
that
what
son
Chucky's
bitch's
body
head
count
off.
is. Yeah,
I
exactly.
will pull.
But see, now
Chucky's head off.
Now, see, that's the thing,
Chucky.
though. Everyone's going to have that exact same kind of reaction.
All
And
right,
yet,
so
yet again, he's killed a lot of
that
people.
You brought up Chucky because of the iconicness for
That's
our
why
age group,
that's
so
why I
love
brought it
that.
up.
Here we go.
But if
Body
you-
count for Chucky.
Annabelle.
Body count for Chucky, 38.
Who?
Which is less than Freddy.
But that's only two less than Freddy.
Who's the most
Still.
deadly doll? Chucky or Annabelle? It's right there.
Annabelle?
Annabelle versus Chucky.
Here we go. Who's the better
Annabelle.
killer doll?
But
Annabelle's based on a true story.
I know, but we're talking about iconic 80s slashers. Chucky only has two less kills than Freddy does.
Annabelle's based
true.
on a true story.
Makes it a little more scary.
I'm going to go ahead and say this article's not going to help us because it's somebody's opinion,
Yeah.
and they have a vote at the end.
they
but
got
that's
a vote.
okay.
think?
'cause
So
we can-
Google Annabelle body count.
So Annabelle
That's
is
a good
based
point.
on a true story of. Annabelle's based on a true story of demon. What is it
How
called?
many kills does Annabelle have?
What is it called when demons get
They're
into
the
you?
same.
No,
I've been
Cult of Chucky.
possessed.
Cult of
Possessed,
Chucky.
yeah.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah. So they don't have a kill count for Annabelle.
Let's maybe get into
Annabelle
favorites.
is a demon possessed doll that is based on true stories. Are based on
says
stories that have been told.
Annabelle.
As true, I should say.
Has led to the demise of a 77-year-old British man in Thailand.
Yeah.
So 38, 157, 140, and one 77-year-old British guy in Thailand.
That's not all she's
That's a
killed.
body count right there.
But back to the original point about iconic, cheesy slashers.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
I mean, Freddy Krueger only has 40, Chucky has 38, and he's a doll. So everyone's going to have that same reaction. Oh, I'll pull that doll's head off, but he's got two less kills than Freddy, who haunts your dreams.
Well, that's because
Well, one of them is a doll, and one of them is a dreamscape nightmare
Yeah, wait
that
till you're
jumps
sleeping.
psychically from brain to brain. Chucky is now being named as an AI. Now I say if they continue to do that as a toy with Chucky being AI, you can expect that kill count to
Go way up.
Skyrocket.
oh yeah,
Skyrocket.
for sure.
I mean, if he's self-aware, he's immediately gonna become aware of the very bad stereotype that redheads have.
Yeah.
So if
They don't
anybody
have
calls him a ginger, he's
What,
immediately
crazy?
killing them.
Yeah. That they don't have a soul,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which AI doesn't.
which is just like the rest of the killers, too.
I didn't know that there's a thing out there about redheads not having a soul. I just thought they were crazy.
You just got to watch some South
You've
Park.
never seen or heard anybody say you're a ginger, you don't have a soul?
Wow.
My apologies to the gingers out there. I'm
No,
not saying that
because
myself. I'm just saying
not
that's
a bigot, and I refuse to listen to such things.
Let's maybe talk about favorites.
Fucking
Favorites.
Let's get into favorites
Yeah.
because this is a super
Yeah.
long
All right.
episode already.
We're going to end it on favorites.
Okay.
We're going to go around to everybody. I think
Now we're
I know
talking
what
favorite killer or
this half
favorite
of the
movie?
room. Favorite killer.
Okay.
A
All right.
slasher, killer, whatever.
And why? Favorite killer, why? Let's try to keep it to a minute a person.
Of all horror films.
Yeah,
not just
yeah.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. This does not have to be the big three.
shit.
You can go over there. It sounds like we're going to be going to Clay last. Do you know who yours is?
Yeah, go to me last.
100,000%.
Oh, I know who yours is too. Go ahead and go.
Freddy Krueger.
And tell the kids why.
So when I was 7 years old, the first scary movie I've ever seen was Dreamcatcher, which is the fifth of the Freddy Krueger series.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the one with Johnny Depp where he gets sucked down to the bed or whatever.
Yep.
And I was at a sleepover with a bunch of friends, and I slept on the couch, and I had dreams of arms coming out of the couch and sucking me into the couch.
Mm-hmm.
And I lived on Elm Street as
There
a
you
kid.
go.
And
Yeah,
the
that's the
sleepover
big one.
was on Elm Street
Yeah.
because it was my best friend that was 3 or 4 houses away.
That's some irresponsible parents.
Yep.
that let
I
that
grew
fly.
up on Elm
Yeah, go ahead and
Street
watch it.
in Slippery Rock, Pennsylvania, a little small town and I love the song, and Freddy is dope.
Well, okay.
So
Freddy is effing cool.
So are
I'm
we going to
sorry.
Clay next? Clay, you need a few
Yeah,
more
let's go-
minutes?
let's
You
go to me.
need
Did
a
I
few
say
more minutes to look at the
Dreamcatcher?
menu?
I'm sorry, it's a Dream
Let's go.
Child.
Dream
The Dream
Child.
Child. I said it wrong and I knew
Okay.
it.
Let's go to me. I was just because I've blatantly explained that I am afraid of Freddy very much, and it was the scariest movies for me. I was going to try to find a good horror movie that I watched where something was somewhat equal to. Can't do it. I got to go Freddy, and I have to go. What reinvigorated it was Wes Craven's New Nightmare, which is like 98, 99.
Wes Craven's a big fan of the show.
Yep.
That I watched the Friday the 13th, scared out of my mind with my sister, she's 6 years older than me, and she's going to know about this. And Lorianne, you were a bitch for that, but she scared the shit out of me with these movies. But then I watched Wes Craven's New Nightmare as a 15 or 16-year-old. So like I said, it was 98, 99. Totally reinvigorated me into being afraid as fuck of Freddy Krueger.
Yeah.
Dude,
Completely.
it's
So
terrifying.
I was trying to think of somebody better. I couldn't. Got to go Freddy, hands down.
All right.
Hands down.
Moving over to
Favorite.
Rhinoceros.
So
He,
I want to do something slightly
Minnesota
different.
Vikings.
I want to do something slightly different only because I'm not going to be on this podcast for a while.
Yeah.
So I'm actually going to throw out the movie that scared me the most real quick.
That works.
Okay.
That's fine.
And this is I'm going to see the reaction on your faces is going to be the exact same.
Is it Barbies?
The
in
one movie
the
that
West?
scared me the most out of any movie I've ever watched in my
Toy Story
entire
2.
life,
Willy Wonka
Oh,
and the
geez.
Chocolate Factory.
Signs.
Okay.
Now here's the story.
It's not scary to me, but I understand.
It's a very quick story.
It's not even a horror film.
I know it's not. It's a suspense. Just let me tell the story.
What kind of
Just let me tell the
bullshit
story.
Yeah, yeah.
So
we brought
I'm
into
15 years old, right? And my buddy calls me up. He's like, "Hey, let's go watch a movie." Like we're going to the theater. I'm like, "All right, yeah, cool." I'd never even heard of Signs. I'd never seen a trailer. Never heard of it. Didn't know Mel Gibson was
Is this
in it.
why you don't like Mel Gibson?
Joaquin Phoenix.
Joaquin Phoenix. So
Is it Dakota Fanning?
and Macaulay Culkin's little brother?
Yep.
was
Kieran
about to say.
Culkin.
Yep.
Yes.
Kieran Culkin.
So we go to the theater, and I don't know what it was. I don't know if it's maybe just my brain or if this was actually true. But you know how sometimes when you go to the theaters, there's like a little nut hair of light still like around the theater.
Nut hair of light.
This theater was pitch fucking black to the point where I couldn't see my hand in front of my face. And then the movie starts. I have no idea what's going on. And that very first scene where Mel Gibson is tucking his daughter back into bed and he turns around and looks out the window and the aliens on the roof, I was like, well, fuck, here we go.
Uh-huh.
And then you have that scene where Joaquin Phoenix is sitting in the little closet with the TV
I haven't seen
in
the
front
movie,
of him.
so you're speaking to deaf ears.
I would love to thank Rhino for coming all the way down here
Can
from
I-
Wisconsin
Give
to
us-
bring up a suspense movie on a podcast that we're
It's a little
talking about
scary.
horror movies.
If
It's a little scary.
For those of you who don't know,
difference.
Clay loves interrupting people and trying to talk over him. So this is classic
You want
Clay.
to talk suspense? War of the Worlds with Tom Cruise and Dakota Fanning, who I think that's what you were mistaking it for. Great suspense movie. We're on horror films.
But anyway, let's go back to your killer because you got signs.
So my favorite killer.
Yeah.
My favorite killer is
Who's the killer?
Michael Myers is my
The
favorite
aliens.
killer out of
Why?
the three we're talking about. Dude's just smooth as shit.
Yeah, he is smooth
Dude
as
is
shit.
smooth as shit.
He
You
just
don't.
meanders.
You don't even. You've never seen Michael Myers break a fucking sweat.
That's
Yeah.
true.
And this dude's killing hundreds.
He's wearing a mask, but
Yeah.
you know.
Well, I'm going to echo that and say that's my favorite
Yeah.
too. I wore the Michael Myers getup for Halloween. I walked out of the room and I walked back in with the mask on and the jumpsuit, holding the knife.
Dude, let
and
me
Megan
tell
was
you.
like, "Wow, you look good."
He walked around the house with that shit on and just embodied the Michael
Yeah.
Myers and the demeanor. And I literally was like, don't you fucking tell me that mask has turned you into Michael Myers. Because he was doing it so well that I was literally starting to my heart was pumping. And it was just him and I in the house. And I was like, you're fucking scaring me. Stop it.
So the thing that I agree with you, he's smooth. Not only does he not break a sweat, he is unpredictable.
Nope.
You don't know who
I
he's
agree.
going after.
I agree. Yeah.
And you don't know who's under the mask.
Nope.
So
When we were walking down the street Halloween night, I
Trick-or-treating
think I've
last year,
told
yeah.
you both this story, but I'll say it for the podcast. I was Michael Myers, and I'd gotten away from the family, who was Freddy Krueger. You were Freddy Krueger.
I was Freddy Krueger.
And the boys were Jason Voorhees
and-
and Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah.
I was walking down the middle of the street,
I know. Yeah,
and he was. That's why I didn't bring him up. for this.
Hannibal's pretty
But
terrifying, though.
I was walking down the middle of the street in my Mike Myers getup, and like she said, I was a freaking little local celebrity that night.
Oh,
Everybody
he
knew who I was. So,
5-year-olds, 30-year-olds.
I remember the picture in
13-year-olds.
the streetlight.
yeah, walking down the street, and these 4 girls are approaching me on the other side of the road, and all they see is Mike Myers walking down the middle of the road by himself.
These are probably early to mid-teen.
I don't know if I'd give a shit what age I was at. If I saw you walking down the street,
You might shit your pants.
It's
like,
middle
I'm
of the
sorry,
night.
What I had to do is over here now.
Middle of the night, and it's a silhouette over my mask, right? And I'm walking, and all I hear is, "Oh my God."
These little
Coming down the
3 or
street,
4
I hear,
girls.
"Oh my God." And I see them because I had this cloth over the eye holes, so you can't see my
Underneath.
eyes.
So
All
I
you see
blacked
is
out the
black.
eyes. I blacked
And they
them
just
out.
go,
Brilliant.
They just go, "Oh my God." And they go run and hide on private property
Behind
somebody's car. And so I'm walking up, and I've seen all this, and I'm wearing
The boots.
steel toe heavy boots,
The full
jumpsuit,
jumpsuit.
the knife, and right as I get to them,
Parallel.
I just
Yep.
stop. And one girl goes, "Fuck this shit!" She just gets up and runs. And one of them jumped in this person's backyard. One of them lost her weave heading down the street. And there was one completely across on the other side of the street filming the whole thing. And she was like, "Damn, you scary." It was my favorite experience on Halloween ever.
It was fantastic. The boys and I are like a half a block away, so we're kind of watching it from a distance, and we're just like all laughing.
Just to give a quick visual, Jack is not a small individual. by any means.
6
He's
foot
a,
2.5
He's a good
and
6
change.
and a couple of inches, and
Yeah.
there's a couple hundred bills in there.
And it's just like, it was pretty convincing. You know
was
what I mean?
good.
I would have
It
been
was
convinced
good.
that I'm a grown fucking man.
Not to mention
What I
my
loved-
knife looked legitimate,
What
too.
I loved about that, though, was the 5-6-year-olds that all wanted to like fangirl you, and it was all like the little princesses, and there was one
Yeah.
little
You
girl
about to
who was
slap them
dressed.
girls?
There was
no, it was
tell
the
them
moms.
stay off your man.
It was the moms.
Snip, snap,
Some of the moms were
snap.
like, "Can I get a selfie too?" And I was
Yeah.
like, Freddie, me was like, "Bitch, please."
It was very weird because they were like, "Ooh, go get a picture with Mike Myers," and they would all run up. And one little girl, I'll never forget
Oh,
her.
she was dressed as
dressed
Captain
as Captain
America.
America, had this big old fro, and she asked me to come kneel down by her, and naturally I did. And she goes, "I love you, Michael Myers." And I didn't talk when I had the mask on, so I was just like, thumbs up. And then she goes, "You can come over to my house and kill my family. Just don't kill me."
And then she runs back over to her mom and she goes, "I told Michael he can come over and have tea with me anytime he wants as long as he doesn't kill me."
Lied to her mom. Didn't tell her
Why,
that
sure.
she told me that I
Yeah.
could kill her whole
She just
family.
said-
I would have said
As
to the
long
mom,
as
like, there
she
might be
doesn't-
some underlying issues there.
And this little girl she came
That
up to me.
is
She goes,
not
"I know
okay.
who you
Yeah.
are. You're Freddy Krueger. Michael Myers is my favorite, though." And I was like, "Oh, okay, well,
Whatever.
over there."
Real quick, what I would love to see is I live here, been great friends with Jack for a while, and knew Meagan when they were just friends before they were together. I want to hear, because, I mean, look, we didn't talk about Leatherface the way we should have.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about a House of a Thousand Corpses for
Oh,
Rob
there's so
Zombie.
many
We didn't
good
talk
horror
about
movies.
the devil,
Devil's Rejects.
the Devil's Rejects.
Hills Have
didn't talk
Eyes.
about,
Hills
so
Have
there
Eyes.
are
There's
people, right, that are thinking about those going, I can't believe they didn't even mention those. I would love to
I threw
see
the wrench
some
in with
activity.
Chucky.
I would love to see some activity and some
Yeah.
feedback.
Oh,
on
I agree
yeah.
100%.
I would
Yeah.
love that.
yeah."
That
Yeah.
would be awesome.
We'll have to do another
Hellraiser.
episode about it. Yeah,
Yes.
Hellraiser.
Hellraiser's a good one.
And
With
yeah,
the fucking pins, the pincushion head.
Yeah,
Pinface,
he was one of the ones
Pinhead.
we've talked about.
Hopefully-
Pinhead, Chucky
Yep.
was another one.
Yep.
Like we've, yeah.
I'll tell you what, Hellraiser, I didn't even think about him. And if you need to sew some garments, he's the perfect guy.
Oh yeah,
my
he
God.
knows
He's got
the
everything.
deal.
It's like
he
right
knows
there,
the
yeah.
deal.
Right there.
Yeah.
So I would love to see the feedback from it on Twitter or what, because I follow.
We'll have
it
to
and
put
everything.
some stuff out here as soon as this episode comes
Yeah,
out.
this would be
Does the
great.
Freddy song go along with the Alter Ego song? It doesn't.
This
does
is
it?
that shut your mouth music.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. But let me tell you what. I could tell you where you could find the Alter Ego podcast and propose these questions.
Okay.
If you'd like to.
Nut pennies and butt nickels.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of butt nickel, thank you to Ford Supply and Tony Anellos for sponsoring the episode. You can find us at alteregopodcast2@gmail.com, Twitter at podcast_ego, Facebook at Alter Ego Podcast, Instagram at Alter Ego Pod,
That's my
YouTube.com/Alter Ego Podcast. Thank you for listening. I've been your host, Jack Austin, with Meagan. No Mark, no Ryan, but F them. We got Clay and Rhino. Woo woo. Thank you
Yes,
guys
sir.
so much for being here. I hope you
Thank
enjoyed
y'all.
it. And we'll catch y'all in the next time.
Yeah.